Hello, and welcome back to my channel. Okay, so I am kind of like trying and testing out a bunch of live streams at the moment because duty calls for it. So basically, I've been wanting to actually do this particular I'd say tutorial, not necessarily live stream, because I wasn't sure whether I wanted to do it as a live stream or if I was actually going to do it as a tutorial, you know. Reconnection successful. What is OBS saying? What is OBS telling me? Reconnection. What, had it broken connection? I'm trying to figure that out. Anyways, let me just check that my stream is fine. It's telling me that my stream is error. YouTube receiving enough video to maintain. You know what? YouTube is having so much issues today. I'm not understanding why. I do find that quite rather bizarre, if truth be told, that it's actually having issues, because it was fine a second ago and now all of a sudden it's no longer fine. Like, make it make sense. Let me see. Why is it struggling? I would really love to know why it's struggling. Normally it doesn't have any issues. Anyways, I don't want to stay too long on this particular live stream, so I'm just going to go ahead. So what you are actually seeing on the screen right now, actually, before I get to that, I just want to remind anybody, if you are new to my channel, please make sure that you click on that subscribe button. Of course, click on that bell button so that you can receive notifications every time I upload new videos. And of course, give this video a thumbs up and feel free to share it, and of course leave your comments down below. But if you're here live as I am streaming it, please feel free to join me in the chat and ask any questions that you might have as I proceed with the tutorial. And the tutorial being what you're actually currently seeing right now on the screen, which is basically Clipchamp. Clipchamp is actually it's part of Microsoft. Okay, I never heard of it before, I never knew of it before, but it says it is now part of Microsoft. I'm assuming it was a separate app before. What I did realize is when I was using the video editor for Microsoft, which is free by the way as well, it recommended that I download Clipchamp to get more in-depth features, right? So I was like, okay, let me give it a try. And this was like some weeks ago now, and I decided to give it a whirl. And when I tried it, I actually really liked it, because I normally use Photoshop, Premiere Pro, After Effects and all that, and they're quite complicated, you know. They're quite complicated applications, which thankfully I do know how to use. However, sometimes it does feel a bit tedious when you're trying to just edit something really quickly and export it, you know, and then upload it wherever you need to upload it, right? And Clipchamp kind of gives you a little bit of shortcut when it comes to that. That's why I like it, and that's why I'm recommending it, and that's why I am giving this tutorial for anybody that has never heard of it, anybody that doesn't know anything about it. This is definitely ideal. Obviously, unfortunately, if you are on a Mac, I don't know if this is available because it's part of Microsoft, so I'm not sure how readily available it would be for people on the Mac. So people who are using PC, obviously this is for you. I can always double check to see if it's available for Mac, but I doubt that very much, if truth be told. So yeah, basically Clipchamp for the most part is free, to be honest. As you can see right now, you're looking at the website, it's saying that it's got a pricing option. Well, this particular pricing option is available if you want, let's say, additional features, you know. So I've clicked on it and it should have, oh come on, are we going to be slow? Thank you. Okay. So basically, as you can see, the free comes with unlimited watermark free exports, so you don't have to worry about having a watermark that says Clipchamp on your footage whenever you edit it. It comes up to 180p with its HD export resolution, which is fine. I know a lot of people are doing 4K these days, but honestly, 180p, 1080p, sorry, is actually just as fine to be able to utilize. And then it comes with free audio, image and video stock, which is amazing, because it can be quite tedious when you are editing any footage and you need some stock footage, you need some stock images, and also bearing in mind you don't want to breach anyone's copyright, right? And so there are websites such as Unsplash and then also Pexels. You know, I mainly use Unsplash and Pexels. Pexels actually offers stock images as well as stock footage for free. They do always ask to see if you can be able to obviously tag the author, or at least give them credit in some way, shape or form, like in the description and stuff like that, which is a plus because you're getting for free at the end of the day, right? So that's optional, but you don't have to. So that's a little bit of a plus, I suppose you could say. But yes, there's those ones. And then when I need things like music and stuff like that, I normally use YouTube Music, or you can use Epidemic Sound. That's an option for people to actually utilize when they need music for their, you know, their footage, etc., that sort of thing. And again, we're talking about music that is copyright free. Okay, so Clipchamp actually has all of that available to your disposal, which I think is again a massive plus. You know, it's a massive plus because it's not every day that you get a platform, or should I say a you know, an interface, an application where you can actually retrieve as much information, as much content, should I say, as you need for your editing, or should I say additions for your edit. Yeah, I think I'm kind of like all over the place when I'm trying to explain that, but yes, you know, you don't really get that. So normally I would have to have like downloaded the music in advance from YouTube, downloaded the images in advance, the stock footage, and Clipchamp kind of skips all of that because you can get everything in one place. I'm going to be showing you that in a moment. And obviously you also get free filters and effects. As a matter of fact, I have been using Clipchamp because right now I'm trying to sort out my computer situation. I have had to go back to my original laptop, which is this one. I am using two monitors because I can't deal with one monitor. It makes it very difficult. But and so basically it's a lot more slower because of the updates and things like that. Even if my laptop is like, it's a really, really good laptop, it is quite old, which means with all the updates that are taking place, with software changing, etc., that sort of thing, it can't really keep up the way it's supposed to. So whenever I try to edit with Photoshop or After Effects, you know, the more complicated apps, it actually tends to have problems with that, you know. And so, and rendering takes a lot longer. It's such a tedious process. So that's when Clipchamp comes into play, because it doesn't take that much CPU in comparison to Photoshop and Premiere Pro, After Effects, etc. You know, it uses less CPU memory, and so therefore the rendering time is actually also less tedious. It's you don't have to wait just as long, and if you've got an excellent computer, even better, which means your rendering time is going to be like super fast, you know. So that's honestly a huge bonus. And so what I'm going to do now, without further ado, real quick, as you can see, that's what it comes with. The things that the paid version comes with is basically everything that you have here, plus you get to have premium audio, premium filters and effects, and branding kit. Brand kit is basically where, if you normally, let's say for example, have got a particular editing style, right, and you want to kind of maintain that, the branding allows you to keep those colors. So for example, I've got Elaka TV, I've got TGTV, I've got EP Creative Media, which is the one I use mainly for Sims. So all those three different ones, I can create branding for each particular one because they do use different colors. For instance, TGTV uses red, like a wine red. What's a raid? Wine red, uses wine red, it uses black, and then uses gold. You know, those are the main colors for TGTV, and a bit of white. And then we've got Elaka mainly it's blue, with a little bit of orange here and there, or gold-ish, you know. And then EP Creative Media is literally blue and orange, you know. I mean, if you were to add even an additional one, ZMC, Zambian Music Charts. Zambian Music Charts basically uses like the Zambian colors, but we lean more towards the green, so we use like green and orange. So if you find those swatches within your editing, you're able to actually save them. That way you don't have to keep trying to figure out what hexa, you know, hexa key it is, or what hue the color is that you need for your branding is. It kind of saves you that. But with that said, honestly speaking, once you've created your initial template for each section, you can actually just recycle the footage, just swap out the footage, and I'm going to show you that right now. So I'm going to minimize that. As you can see, what you're looking at right now is the actual dashboard for for Clipchamp, right? This is the dashboard for Clipchamp. As you can see, there's obviously some stuff that I've got on here, you know, my videos, etc., most recent ones, etc. That's what you can even search for them. You can add more videos. So if I click on here, it will allow me to kind of create a new video. And on the side here, you actually have an option where you can create folders. Now the folders are very handy, especially when you're doing the branding thing. And basically for me, as you can see, I've got Elaka here, I've got Sims 4, and I've got TGTV. And so this is basically to go with whatever project that I'm working with, you know. So for example, if I quickly go into the TGTV folder, right, I have been basically in the middle of editing interviews, etc., that sort of thing. And so I did not want to mix them up with Sims 4 content, nor did I want to mix them up with, you know, Elaka's content. And so this is the one video that I have. If I basically create a new one, it will basically show up there, and so on and so forth, you know. And then if I go to the Sims 4 folder, you can see this one's probably going to have multiple ones because I've been creating stories, I mean normal videos, as well as what do you call them, normal videos, as well as shorts. That's it, YouTube shorts. And so, you know, it's kind of different from basically, you know, the one that you just saw, TGTV. And as you can see, it also allows you to just do quick videos. This is like a quick edit that I did because I wanted to remove other parts of this particular video. But also, if I was to, for example, go into the Real Housewives of Atlanta, this one, typical day with the Real Housewives of Atlanta, caption this. Okay, so this one is the one I'm gonna maybe use for now. Although there is something that I do want to edit, which I'll be able to show you, and I'll be able to edit it from scratch. And as a matter of fact, should I do it from scratch? I'll see. Let this open and then I'll think about it. I will actually think about that. Let's see. Now, okay. So here, as it stands, you can see it's importing basically any footage that I had already placed, etc. It's basically trying to locate it. And what it tends to do is, if you were in the middle of a project and you basically, I don't know, stopped in the middle, you had to close the application. First of all, as you can see, there is no toolbar at the top, right? You know, the one that says file, save, etc., that sort of thing, because that is actually not necessary. If you've ever used Microsoft's OneNote, you notice whenever you use Microsoft's OneNote actually doesn't have the option for you to save the information. What it actually does is, whatever it is that you've typed, if you just happen to close OneNote there and then, it saves it where you have stopped. And then you can just carry on where you left off. And I kind of love that about OneNote. And Clipchamp does the exact same thing. Literally, if I was to shut it down right now, I would come back, I wouldn't have lost anything at all. So God forbid, obviously, if there's like a power cut or your computer kind of like crashed or whatever, it would actually continue where you left off. So long as obviously whatever information you're uploading, any media you're uploading, etc., had completed uploading, then it will actually continue from where you left off. And I think that is absolutely brilliant. You know, I love that fact about it. And so in regards to the features that it actually has, I'm going to try and take you step by step on what it is. So having this already in here is actually very, very handy. I think it's very, very helpful, because then I can be able to kind of utilize to kind of show you examples of what it is that I was able to achieve with it, right? So as you can see from the very top, on the actual Clipchamp logo itself, if you click on it, it gives you the option to go back to home. Okay, and then obviously there is the option to upgrade the plan, which I already showed you what you need to do. And then you can add a new video. So this is if you want to start a new video. So if I click start a new video, all this will be cleared off, you know, it'll be a new one. I'm not going to lose this because that will be saved automatically, but I get to just start a brand new video. And then basically those are the main options it has. Obviously you can log into your account. I've got a Microsoft 365 account, so I'm actually logged into there, and I can sign out and sign into another account if I want to, etc. Obviously if you use things like keyboard shortcuts, you can go ahead and kind of look at the shortcuts that you have, and then obviously ask for help if you need any help. Okay, so hang on, let me just check, make sure this is still working. Are we still together? Okay, it's still working fine because I've got it on low latency, and so I am checking my other I am checking my other monitor to make sure that this is actually still working right now. So far YouTube is actually telling me that my connection is excellent, so I'm happy about that because I really hate it when it's lagging. And this is why I love using StreamYard. You know, today I'm not using StreamYard because there's just way too much stuff that I'm doing. And so that's pretty much what you get when you click on the logo. There's not much going on there. So the first one that you have is called your media. Obviously I've got media here, but if you don't have any media, you're going to have just this blank space, and then you can have it gives you the option to import your media. So when you click on the arrow there, right, it will give you the options to collect your media either from your files, from your phone. So this is if you've connected your phone, especially Windows phone, you can connect to Windows phone or just Android. If you've got your phone connected to your computer, you can actually easily retrieve files, videos and pictures and images, etc. from your phone, which is amazing. Or if you've got images that you want to collect from OneDrive, you can collect them from there. You can collect images from Google Drive, from Google Photos, and of course Dropbox, good old faithful Dropbox. Okay, so those are the options that you have available to you. And then once you've imported those files, they, like I said, they will show up here. Obviously the other way that you can be able to do it, which is what I normally do, just give me a second, my throat, I've had like a sore throat ever since I had COVID, like it hasn't completely healed, so I've been kind of up and down. So I'm actually drinking some lemon water at the moment, so bear with me. So over here I'm gonna go ahead and import a file from my library. Okay, so what I tend to do, which is less tedious, obviously you can click on import. Okay, when you click directly import rather than the drop down, it will literally go and try and fetch the file for you. You know, to go straight to your desktop, right? Because it's not, you've not given yourself the option to choose whether it's OneDrive, etc., that sort of thing. And so if you want to do that, you can actually go ahead and then obviously search and then upload the, you know, open it, and it will start the import. The other option is to actually go directly into your folder and actually collect it from there. So I've already got, obviously in my gaming folder, I've got this one. This is the one that I want to upload as a short. So I'm going to go ahead and literally drag it. So this is an MKV file. Now, the reason why this one's an MKV file is because when I actually recorded this particular footage, I recorded it using OBS, which is what I'm using right now to do the live stream. You can do live stream as well as record with OBS. You can also do picture-in-picture with OBS, but guess what? So does Clipchamp. Although Clipchamp's live recording it only allows you up to 30 minutes. I'm assuming when you upgrade, it probably gives you more minutes, you know. So it depends on whether you prefer to record, screen record, etc. with Clipchamp. But if it's something longer, I would recommend that you use OBS. I think maybe in time I might give you an OBS tutorial. Me personally, I have never gone into depth of the OBS system, so there's certain features here and there that I still have to go to other YouTubers and actually learn how to use. But for the most part, in terms of going live streaming and pre-recording stuff and how to export, etc., I can give that tutorial, but I can't go in depth you know, with all the extra features that it has, because I really don't use it to that extent, I won't lie. So MKV was the format that I actually exported the file. But the good thing about Clipchamp is, if I'm not mistaken, it actually accepts MKV, which is something I cannot say about Premiere Pro. The latest editions of Premiere Pro and After Effects actually reject MKV. You know, I don't know if After Effects does it, but I do know for a fact that Premiere Pro rejects MKV. You have to convert it to MP4 in order to actually use it and edit it in Premiere Pro. So I'm just going to grab that particular file and then I'm just going to drag it over onto here. As you can see, once you're dragging, it just says drop media to import. So I'm just going to let go and it's going to start importing. As you can see, it's saying preparing 0%. Okay. I have faced some issues here and there sometimes, but I don't think that's down to Clipchamp. That's more down to my computer being really, really super anciently old. And so as you can see, that was really quick, right? It's literally already exported the file here. And you'll find that when you've exported things like music and you hover over the music file, it actually plays it. And so if I do this, for instance, there you go. See that? It literally will play the music, which I think is great, because if you're not sure or you can't remember, like, okay, I know you can't basically remember the name of the song as tied to the sound itself, and you're like, okay, is that the name, is that the sound, you can't remember, just hover over the music and you'll be able to kind of have a preview of the song that you're about to add into this timeline. And so yeah, that's that one added. And so that's honestly that's the basics of uploading the footage. Obviously there's other bits and pieces if you want to record. The next step is recording and create. So if you want to do things like screen recording, or you want to do things like camera recording, where you would just want to be talking to the camera, and it's also got an option for text to speech. Text to speech is actually super cool. I love it so much. But we're gonna start from the top, right? We're gonna start from the top with screen and camera recording. I'm hoping it's gonna allow me, because bear in mind OBS is doing screen recording already, so I'm hoping they will not clash with each other and I'll be able to still give this demonstration. So let's go ahead and click on that. Right now I've got the camera actually facing me. However, you see a camera is required for this video. You have one connected. Check your system settings. Okay, let me see. Okay, is this the, okay, this one is actually sealed off. So what I'm going to do is another application is using my camera. I thought so, because OBS, I think, wait a minute, OBS is not using the camera. OBS is definitely not using the camera. So, but because it's assuming that OBS is using the camera, it's not going to use the camera. And let me see. USB, webcam. The other one is, okay, I've got like technically two cameras. I've got the one that's actually on the laptop, and then I've got the one that's actually attached to, well, basically the one that's external, and that's the one I was hoping to use. Okay, so just for argument's sake, I'm actually just going to click on OBS virtual camera. Let me see, is it going to take that one? No, because the OBS system is on. Okay, good. It's actually accepted it. That's fine. I'm actually okay with that. Bizarre that it won't let me have the other one when it's not even using it. Very, very bizarre. But that's neither here nor there. But when you select the camera that you're using, it will appear here, like as you can see, this one, you can actually expand it slightly. There you go, or make it smaller. Those are the options that it actually gives you. And then this is obviously, like I said, picture in picture, right? And so when you are ready and you've got everything set up, okay, your microphone is set up, and you basically just click record. As you can see here, it says recording is limited to 30 minutes. Now it's got the coach as well. You can click on the coach to activate the coach, but I'm not gonna turn on speaker coach because I believe I know what I'm doing. But if you're not sure, you can actually, turn on the coach, and the coach can kind of like talk you through everything that you're trying to do. And so here I'm gonna click record real quick. Okay, and then it's going to ask me, as you can see, which screen I would like to record, right? So let's try and see if we can get what window. Tab. That's Clipchamp. Okay, share tab audio as well. That option is there. Let me see. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to actually see if it will allow me to record Clipchamp without it hopefully giving up that infinity screen. So as you can see, I've selected. So if you've got other additional apps that it detects, you can actually, it will give you the option to actually select them so that you can kind of stream that particular thing that you want to record. So I'm going to click share. Okay, and then when I do that, as you can see, the red lining has kind of appeared in front, and then it's giving me the option to stop sharing here, right? Recording is limited. Yes, I do know that. And so I don't know if it's gonna allow me to go into, let's see. Yeah, this is what I was trying to avoid. Can you see that? It's got the infinity situation going on. It's so hilarious. And now, because technically it's recording itself, it's getting weirder. Look at that. That is so weird. But that's just an example, okay? I'm going to press stop and then I'm going to give you another example of another recording, okay? So now it gives you the option when it's done, it actually gives you the option to either recording is limited. Yes, I do know that. And so I don't know if it's going to allow me to go into, let's see. Go. It's really good at this. It's actually quite quick. Yeah, this is what I was trying to avoid. It gives you the option to either save and edit. It's got the infinity situation going on. So this is basically if you made loads of mistakes, you're like, oh no, this is not what I wanted, you know, this actually gives you the option to just retake the whole thing. Okay, so now we're going to be retaking the whole thing, but this time we're going to be choosing a different screen to record, okay, so that we don't have that infinity thing going on. So I'm going to click record again, okay, and then I am actually going to wait, let's see, window. What am I trying to pick? Because I haven't even, okay, tell you what, I'm gonna pick screen 1 and share audio as well, okay, just in case of anything. I think it's ready and I'm gonna click share. So basically I have picked this same screen that I'm on, okay, and so initially it's probably going to give me that infinity thing, but that's okay. Okay, that's okay, because I'm actually going to go into the browser tab, and then just to show you a couple of things that you can be able to utilize in conjunction with this free video editing software. Okay, so okay, it has already started, so I'm gonna hide that. Normally I tend to hide that because it kind of just gets in the way. As you can see, because I'm now recording the whole screen, you've got the yellow all around it there. Okay, so I'm gonna click on hide, and then I'm actually going to take it to back there. Okay, and so here, as well as Clipchamp, as you can see, Clipchamp, you can use it absolutely free. There's more features I'm about to show you. But also, if again, you know, especially if you're on a budget, if truth be told, but you really want to do some video editing and you've got a YouTube channel, you just want to improve, you know, Clipchamp is definitely one I highly recommend, because it's got all the features of a professional video editor that you need without the arduous task of having to really have that extra know-how. So it's very, very handy. It allows you to do really clean recordings, and it's really neat on how it does it, and I'm going to show you that in a moment. Another application that I would highly recommend, again, you know, this is if you don't want to pay the subscription for Adobe, for the Adobe Creative Cloud. It's called PhotoP. Okay, I'm just going to type it. If it's going to listen to me, there you go, PhotoP. You can see photop.com. I'm going to try and see after this video ends, if I remember to, because I do tend to forget, I won't lie. And I will leave the links to these. As a matter of fact, maybe I can put the links in the chat, I'm not sure, but I will leave the links in the description. That way you can be able to actually go to this particular website and actually download Clipchamp, and also be able to utilize PhotoP. Now, PhotoP is a software that you technically cannot download. It hasn't got that option. It does have an option for you to register, and I think you can also pay membership if you want to, if you don't want the adverts, because as you can see, the gray on this side is where all the adverts tend to pop up. Right now everything is kind of just slowing down because I'm live streaming. I've got OBS open, I've got Clipchamp open, and then I've got obviously YouTube Studio open, and now I've just opened PhotoP, which does use up a little bit of CPU memory because of the fact that it works literally almost identical to Photoshop. As you can see on PhotoP, you can get again, similar to the way Clipchamp works, you can get files from your private folder, shared drives, Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, you know, P Drive, which is I think a PhotoP drive. This is if you've registered, it probably saves stuff for you there. That way you can easily access them on any other device that you're on. And then obviously this device, right? Right now I think it's frozen. Hang on, let me see. Is it frozen? Why does it feel frozen? It feels frozen. Let me see. Yeah, it's frozen. It's so frozen. And yeah, that's the only thing. Because PhotoP is similar to Photoshop, like I said, it does use up quite a bit of CPU memory. I'm seeing something at the bottom here that okay, that's fine. That's the recording that I'm doing right now. I was about to go like, what is this and where did it come from? So basically, PhotoP, like I said, it allows you to upload things like if you've got a Photoshop document, for example, that you worked on or someone created for you in Photoshop, right? But you don't have Photoshop, but you want to edit something. PhotoP is perfect because you can actually use Photoshop documents. You can actually use After Effects, Illustrator, which is that one, and XD, as you know, is the one for applications, etc., that sort of thing. You can use Sketch. It takes PDFs, XCFs, raw files, and any JPEG, PNG, GIFs, TIFF. TIFF files are the ones that you normally get whenever people export like images from Lightroom, and also you get them when from raw camera images actually have TIFF sometimes, SVG as well, and DDS. So it's actually pretty good for that. So in terms of anyone who has a YouTube channel, these two applications, this is literally all you need: PhotoP and Clipchamp, and you're good to go. You literally don't have to go anywhere else or do anything else, and worry about having to, straddle going through one application to another application to another application to another application. You will actually be perfectly fine using PhotoP and Clipchamp, and that's pretty much it, really. And like I mentioned earlier on, if you want additional stock image that's not available on Clipchamp, like I said, Pexels, okay, is one of them. And as I mentioned, Pexels does offer video footage as well as photo images for you to actually be able to utilize. That's if I just, okay. Why are you being so slow? It's being so slow. It's ridiculous. It is being so slow. It's ridiculous. Are we going to Pexels or not? Let's try that again. Or is PhotoP just going to take over and not let me? Hang on, let me close this. And herein lies the problem when deciding to do a live stream. Absolute madness. Okay. Shall we open a new tab? Okay. Oh, it's going really slow. Let me have a look. Where is my... Oh yeah, I'm using 100% of my CPU right now. It's insane. I'm literally using 100% of my CPU, but I think the other problem is I've got other massive software actually running in the background. So I'm actually going to shut those down to give me a little bit of extra breathing room, because we're not going to have proper breathing room with them running in the background, because they really do take up a lot of CPU memory. Let's have a look. You can close. Okay, is Pexels gonna finally see? It's the fact that Google Drive is actually delaying. Sorry, not Google Drive. Yeah, just Google. Normal Google search, which shouldn't be taking up that memory. And let's not forget, Google Chrome alone basically opens a new application with every search, which I think is so insane. With every search. Okay, I'm literally having to shut down so much in the back, and that's something I highly recommend for people doing. When you find your system is running slow, sometimes it's because you've got a lot of background applications actually processing, and so all you have to do is just right click on your tab, right click on your toolbar, and then you're gonna have a drop down menu like this, and then just click on Task Manager. Click on Task Manager, it comes up, and you actually be able to see which application is actually draining your system. And if it's not one of those hard wired applications, you should be able to just click on it and then click on End Task without having any issues. It won't damage your computer, won't do anything. It just forces it to close and stop running in the background. And that's literally what I'm doing right now. I'm closing any applications that I literally don't need open right now, and they're running in the background when they shouldn't be. Even if I'm still using high CPU memory, but it does help a great deal. Especially when you're running multiple applications, it is something I definitely highly recommend. And so, moving right along. Okay, now let's see if we can type in Pexels. Hopefully we'll be able to get Pexels. kind of showing up in our view right now. Come on, pixels, 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 pixels. And then the other one, like I mentioned, is Unsplash. Unsplash is an on. Let me see if it will allow me to actually, because honestly, I don't have that much patience when it comes to, okay, that's Unsplash, Unsplash. There we go, Unsplash. Okay. Pixels is actually owned, if I'm not mistaken, Pixels is actually owned by Adobe. So yeah, so as you can see, you get free stock images, obviously, if they decide to show up anytime soon. And then obviously we've got Unsplash, which is also, they're taking their time to load. It's ridiculous. Can we see something? Anything? Oh my goodness. And this is very handy for those who are looking to also like have some stock footage or images that they would like to use, but they're using their phone, okay, to do their editing, and they're making it really, really quick. You can actually use Pixels and Unsplash to just download those, you know, pictures, etc., to your phone. And then, you know, it's honestly nice and quick and easy. You don't even have to join, you know, although if you do join, I think it allows you slightly more downloads per day, because it does have a cap on how much you can download per day. That's why those are supposed to, that's the con of it being free, but to be honest, it's not a big con. You know what I mean? It's not a big disadvantage. So as you can see, like the photographers who upload pictures on Pixels are absolutely brilliant. They really post some beautiful, gorgeous pictures and videos, you know, that you can be able to utilize. Same applies with Unsplash. I'm just going to close Pixels, because otherwise if I try to wait for everything to completely show up, we're going to be here forever, and we're trying to avoid that. And like I said, with Pixels you can get videos there too, but Unsplash does not have the option for videos. There are a couple of other video stock image video sites that you can actually download free video footage as well. I just can't remember them at the top of my head, but if I do, I will be sure to put the links in the description or in the comment section. As you can see, Unsplash does the exact same thing. You just have to, you know, credit the authors. As you can see, yep, it's asking me, so I'm going to wait for the page so I can just shut it down myself. So yeah, that's what you can be able to utilize. Now I am going to come out of, okay, we're going to go back in here. As you can see, it's going to do the infinity thing because we'll come back here, but that gives you an idea. So if you're doing picture in picture, basically your image will literally be there, and you'll be able to see yourself, and you'll be able to see what it is that you are actually recording on the screen. Okay, so I'm going to click stop. Now here's the thing, I'm going to click stop, right? And I am going to keep this particular recording just to give you an idea what happens when you stop the recording, when you end the recording and you want to use that particular recording. Now you have to edit it, right? Because that's the next step that follows. Oh my gosh, isn't responding, relaunch. Okay, now because I clicked stop, it might have saved it, and this is the other con about Clipchamp. But again, I said it, I don't know if it's Clipchamp issue or if the issue is actually regarding, I don't know if it's a Clipchamp issue or the issue is actually my computer, if truth be told. I'm leaning on the issue actually being my computer that's actually causing the problem. So as you can see, I clicked on relaunch, so it's going to relaunch it. But because I had pressed stop recording at the time, there's a chance that it might have kept my recording. And what Clipchamp actually does, and this is again the slight disadvantage that I'm not a fan of. However, again, it's not a deal breaker. You know, it's not necessarily a deal breaker. What Clipchamp actually does, once it's finished, once you've exported your file or when it's finished recording, it actually directly saves it in your downloads folder. Okay, it saves everything. Is it in the downloads folder? Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it's in the downloads folder. So let me just double check and see. I think it's in the downloads folder. If I'm not, is it documents? Let me double check. Pictures, yeah, I think likely downloads folder. If I'm not mistaken, it saves them in the downloads folder. Yeah, as you can see, yeah, it saves them in the downloads folder. So if ever you're wondering where your work has gone to, after you've done the export, or after you've pressed stop recording, you know, and you've decided to keep that particular recording, the recording actually gets saved in the downloads folder. And all you have to do, depending on how organized you are, for me, I do like to stay organized. Unless I'm planning on just deleting something forever, I do tend to whatchamacallit, move my things from where the downloads folder, I move them to the preferred folder that I would like it to be. And basically all you have to do when you're moving something, just, you know, click on the file and either click move to, and then it will allow you to select the folder you want to move it to, or copy to. Obviously copy to means it will leave a copy here, whereas move to, it moves it out of there, of where you're moving it from, and that way it also saves you a lot of memory on your hard drive, especially if you're moving it to an external hard drive, which is what I highly recommend as well. And so that's literally all you have to do, and then you can go ahead and upload and add any other additional features you want to add, etc., that sort of thing. So let's go back to, okay, now that we are back, we were in the Sims 4, so I'm going to go back to the Sims 4 folder, and I'm actually going to go back to the folder that I was in, and then this will give me the opportunity to see whether it actually saved it. And like I said, I don't know for sure if the issue is actually my computer or if the issue is actually Clipchamp itself, because it does crash on me quite a lot. But I can't help but feel that it's down to my computer, to be honest. I don't want to just as yet blame Clipchamp until I go ahead and test it out on maybe another computer that's a little bit faster. Then I'll know for sure. But for now, it's just speculation on my part. With that said, it's still not a deterrent for me, because as you can see, as soon as it crashes, it gives you the option to just relaunch, you know, rather than shutting down completely. It actually asks you to relaunch immediately, and then it shuts down, it relaunches immediately. And obviously right now it didn't relaunch as quickly, but normally when I'm not live streaming, obviously it actually does a very, very quick relaunch, you know. So now that it's okay, it's just loading all the footage. Okay, so it did not keep the file, did it? No, it did not keep the file. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do another live stream. This is a live stream. We're gonna do another screen capture, okay, picture in picture, okay, but this time I'm actually going to keep it like a few seconds long. This is just for the benefit of being able to show you what happens when you have finished doing the screen recording and what it does to the recording itself. So I'm going to go back to screen and camera, and obviously it's going to try and look for the camera, but it's assuming that OBS is using the other one, which I'm still not understanding why, considering I'm not using it, but it's going to stick to the OBS one. And then I'm going to click on record, and in terms of the tab, I'm going to basically, or the window should I say, I'm going to click on that one, okay, which is the Clipchamp pricing, and I'm going to click on share, and then it will automatically take me there. So that's another good thing. It automatically takes you to the application that you have chosen. And then obviously for the sake of recording, if you're doing a screen recording, I would highly recommend that you hide that way it doesn't get in the way. And then if you're giving any demonstrations, etc., you know, use that. Just basically do what you need to do, you know, describe what it is that you're trying to describe, etc. And then when you're done doing that, you go back to the recording, or you can actually bring this little thing up and actually stop recording, stop sharing, okay. And so when I click the stop, this should have stopped it. I don't know what's going on. This should have stopped it and given me the options that I need. Okay, I think it's because it's being slow. Okay, good. I was wondering. Okay, so we're going to click on save and edit. Okay, so after you click on save and edit, it will actually take that footage that you have actually just recorded, and it's going to start importing it into your folders section. Allow wants to, yeah, allow that, that's fine. It's Clipchamp. And so obviously, oh wait, is it the one from before? I don't know why it's decided to take multiple files, but normally it says loading items for your video. This won't take long. And then, you know, when it's finished that, it's going to start preparing them, and then it's going to upload them in a similar fashion it does. Now, if you find you're facing issues with it uploading the footage that you have, or that you've uploaded, or that you've just recorded, and it's taking its dear time, my recommendation is literally close the whole Clipchamp down and then start it again. Now, what it's gone and done is not only has it loaded the footage, but it's actually added it to the timeline. Obviously, I didn't want it to add it to the timeline because that's not what I asked for. That's honestly not what I asked for. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click on it. Okay, and I'm actually going to delete them so that I can be able to have the option to do it myself manually, which is what you will be doing as well yourself manually. So let's, hopefully I can get this to work faster. Yes, like I said, my computer is a little bit tedious to work with, you know, which is not fun. You know what I mean? Come on. And this is the reason why a lot of people do tutorials, don't do live tutorials. I mean, I have been on a number of live tutorials that I've watched. But then again, these are people who are like proper experts, so like they know how to maneuver around, you know. Hey boo. Hey Miss Dogan. I know, right? Me and my computer, honestly, me and my computer, you know, it's like we're fighting a constant battle. So I'm going to, okay, I think it's now trying to listen. Bear in mind, I'm gonna just click on the, literally I'm clicking on it and I'm pressing the delete button. Okay, so that way it's removed them. And now we're back to normal, hopefully. Yes, yes. Okay, so now that I've got the footage here, I don't know why there's 2 seconds here and then it's got 19 seconds. I'm assuming, I don't know, did it decide to record it twice? I really don't know what it was trying to do. So weird. But you'll see it automatically adds it there, which obviously allows you to add the footage to the timeline. And I am about to show you how to add the footage to the timeline. I'm just going to go through now. I'm going to try and breeze through the rest of the items because I think the most important one is importing your footage, and then the recording part of it, the recording aspect of it, which is you know, I showed screen and camera. And now if you just want to do camera, it's pretty much the same thing that you just saw with screen and camera. The only difference, it will just be your camera, and you just pick the camera that you're using. Or if it's just the screen alone, you know, pretty much the same as I showed you screen and camera, where you get to choose which application you want to screen record, and make sure if you want to record the audio from the desktop that you make sure you select audio at the bottom and then you screen record. And then if you want to add text to speech, which I think is such a fun element, something I did not expect this to have, so I'm going to quickly show you how it works. So I clicked on the little arrow and it's loaded. Obviously it's got English United Kingdom. I'm in England, so I'm gonna go ahead and choose English United Kingdom instead of English United States that it has. And you get to choose which voice that you want. There's Libby, Abby, Alfie, Bella, blah blah blah. So we're gonna have Libby, we're gonna maintain Libby. And then the voice style, as you can see, it's kind of like coding it off. It's not allowing me. That's because I don't have the text just yet. Okay, so I'm gonna type here and say hello, we are live streaming, right? So this is text to speech, basically, for those who don't know what text to speech. If you ever see anything that says TTS, that's text to speech. So with text to speech, basically, now I think it's still cornered off, I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna preview it. Okay, so if I press play,
hello, we are live streaming.
Okay, so you can actually hear it, you know, hello, we're live streaming. She's able to kind of say it back. So this is really good for those people who don't maybe like the sound of their own voice, or they're not feeling confident enough to use their voice if they're going to give a voiceover, whether it be a tutorial or commentary or whatever and stuff like that. You can actually just write your stuff in here, and you don't have to write massive, just write bits and pieces and then just add them on the timeline. I didn't know about this Clipchamp. I'm glad I just happened to pass through. Yeah, it's amazing. Honestly, it's really, really amazing. It makes it very easy. I think anybody that's literally new to video editing can be able to actually use it without any issues. And you can even change the pitch for the voice, so you can make them slower, you can make them faster. I tend to just maintain them on regular. But if you want something that's cutesy and funny, especially if you're doing something hilarious, you can actually speed up the volume. You know what I mean? Speed up the speech, you know, and get them to kind of like talk that way. And obviously there's extra low, low, medium, high, extra high, you know. But obviously, again, that changes the pitch, that changes the pace. You know, that makes them talk faster, that makes them have like a higher pitch voice if you want them to sound like a squirrel or anything like that. And like I said, you can actually have other people, like a guy. This is Alfie. So if I try Alfie and I press play.
Hello, we are live streaming.
You see, and also I would highly recommend that you try out the different voices and try to find the one that sounds more human than robot, you know. Alfie sounds very robotic. So let's have a listen at Abby.
Hello, we are live streaming.
Okay, so Abby sounds pretty decent to me, you know. So let's say, for example, I decide to click save media. So you want to save the media, it will actually add it like it does when you're importing any other media. So it actually has to import it. And when it's done, when it's ready, it will show up and it will actually have the title that you gave it, like hello, we're live streaming. So if I hover over it,
hello, we are live streaming.
You see. And then if you want to add it to the timeline, then you can go ahead and actually add it to the timeline. But I'm going to show you the timeline, adding footage to timeline in a second when I'm editing this one. And so that kind of, you know, gives you an idea of the record and create aspect of it. Going back really quickly to the your media section, if you've got loads of files, right, that you're using to edit a particular project, you've got these 3 different tabs that you can actually utilize in order to narrow down what you're looking for. So for example, if you want just to look at through your videos, you can click there, it'll have all your videos. If you want to look through your audio, it's got that section, and then you narrow down just only your audio, and then obviously images, all the images. Or if you want everything all at once to be visible, you can actually do that. And so now let's move on to templates. Templates is basically if you don't feel you don't have that creative palette, you're not sure how to get started maybe as well. You know, it's not even about not having the creative palette, but or maybe you're not sure how to just get started, right? The templates that they've got available, they do have quite a decent variety of templates for you to utilize. Some of them are, and by templates are basically just pre-made stuff that you can actually change yourself. So they've got some, you know, all the way to YouTube, etc., that sort of thing. So for example, if I click on intro and outro, okay, a list of intro and outro templates are going to show up, as you can see. You know, obviously bear in mind, if you decide to use these templates, they won't be as flexible. But also if you've got a slower machine, just know these are layers on layers and layers, okay? Which means if you actually become excellent at using Clipchamp, you can actually create something like this yourself, you know? You just have to use a lot of shapes and images and that sort of thing. But when you want to add whatever it is that you like to the timeline, you can just click the plus button so long as your cursor, or should I say your timeline manager, I don't know what it's called actually, is on the right place, because if it's in the wrong place, it will just cut in between your footage. So you have to make sure.
To you.
What is that? Okay, so my thing is a little bit slow.
Welcome to my live stream.
The text to speech that I've placed.
Dogan to you. Said. You and that computer LOL. Hey boo. MS Dogan to you. Said. Well. Didn't know about this Clipchamp. Glad I just happened to pass through.
It's so slow. How is it telling me about
MS Dogan to you. Said. LOL. MS Dogan to you. Said. MS Dogan to you funny.
I know, right? I know, bless her. So yeah, I've got text to speech. Like I've been trying out this text to speech so that like if I'm doing like virtual reality, it can actually speak what people have actually posted in the chat. But also it's handy because especially when you're using multiple screens, I'm not actually always looking at the chat. I'm actually looking at what I'm doing here. So I don't get to see the chat. But the only thing is, Missy over here is it's being slow. It should have done it at the time. So I think it's catching up.
Dogan to you. said. That's cool.
It is pretty cool.
MS Dogan to you, said. Exactly.
Yeah. So I kind of like that. It allows me to kind of respond, and it's almost as though people are actually talking rather than me having to read the chat back to everybody. So anyways, so back to the template. So when you choose your templates, you can actually customize them, etc. That's that sort of thing.
Said. Oh wow, yep, it's slow.
It is slow. It is super slow. Oh dear. Oh dear. I wish there was a better text to speech. It's because I think the text to speech for chat for YouTube are not as advanced as the ones like Twitch. Twitch has got a variety of text to speech options that you can use, and so they work really well and really, really fast. Whereas YouTube, again though, I don't know if I want to blame everything else but my computer. So, you know, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. When I change the computer, we'll see. So yeah, this basically gives you the option to edit any of the intros. These ones are intro and outros, so you can edit them and kind of fashion them according to what you like, you know, what you prefer, you know. And if you're looking for a particular type of template, you can actually just do a search and it will narrow down. So if you're looking at something that's more for gaming, or one that's more for, you know, calm and things like that, you know, as you can see here, it's got relaxing YouTube outro card, you know. And that's for people who do, like, you know, whether they're trying to talk about meditation or, you know, yeah, Twitch is pretty nice. Twitch is actually pretty cool. Twitch is for live streaming though, so you can't just upload videos. You have to live stream all the time, or you can go there to watch live streams. And some channels, depending if they're Twitch members, etc., that sort of thing, if your channel is small, Twitch only keeps your live stream for only a certain amount of time, then afterwards it disappears. Whereas I think if you're a member or whatnot, it actually allows you to keep your live streams for a little bit longer. And so this is perfect. For example, if you've got YouTube and you don't know how to put together things like an end card, which is the one where, if you noticed at the end of a YouTube video, people have like recommended videos. They've got like, this is my suggestion and other recommended videos for people to click on. This actually is very, very helpful. I'm actually going to drag this. I'm not going to just click on the thingy. I'm going to drag it. Although it might not look the way I would like it to look, considering I've done the shape of a shorts and TikTok, you know. So it might not work the way... Why is it not allowing me to? Okay, let me just do this. This template isn't a perfect fit. I know it's not a perfect fit. And isn't this cool? I love that it's actually telling me it's not a perfect fit because the aspect ratio are not the same, you know. So you can go ahead or cancel. So I'm actually going to cancel it, because maybe I'll show you the other one that's actually got the full aspect ratio. But this is just to give you an idea, like you can add them and then edit them accordingly. Okay, so this is the template section. This is when you go to all categories. If there's a particular category that you're looking for your template, as you can see, we've got Instagram here, YouTube, social media adverts, gaming, events and holidays, Christmas templates, slideshows, text overlays, TikTok, social media. Let's click on the TikTok one, because TikTok is like to have this exact same shape. There you go. So if I was to drag any one of these, and so that I can be able to, you know, create a TikTok video, etc., that sort of thing, you know, it will actually allow me. So if I do this, click on that, this time it's not going to protest. It's actually going to go ahead and actually add it. There you go. And as you can see, like I mentioned earlier, the templates are basically ones that have been edited already, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that's been added to them, from music to the images. Obviously you have to probably replace the images, they won't be readily available to you. And then the text, obviously you have to customize them accordingly. Now if I try to allow this, I don't know how how long it's gonna take to actually load. As you can see, it's importing and importing and importing, and that could take a minute, like for real, you know, that could actually take a while. But this is just to give an example. So I'm actually going to click the undo button because I don't want this. Okay, so I'm going to undo, because I'm not trying to fill up my space with all this extra you know, because what's going to happen is once you decide to import a template, it actually adds the media to your media. Basically, as you can see, this is a lot longer. I'm even having to scroll through because it's adding all this media, and this is all media that I didn't ask for, so I'm actually just going to delete it because I really don't want it. And
MS
also
Dogan to you. Said. Man nice.
Why is she being so slow?
MS Dogan to you. Said. I got to try Twitch. I hear it's nice.
Ah, she's so slow. That is so funny. Okay, we're deleting this. We're deleting this as well. Now, here's the thing about the music that Clipchamp has. I actually used the Clipchamp music for one of my, I think, shorts. And there was a copyright claim to it. It wasn't a copyright strike. It was just a claim where I am permitted to use the music. But the owner, let's say, for example, I got monetized. The owner of that particular music has got the right to actually take the money for that. So that's the only downside, I think, that might be with Clipchamp, because copyright hasn't been cleared in the way that you would like it to, in the sense that once you monetize your videos, you still get 100%, or at least, you know, well, that 55% of your YouTube income, you know, because, you know, YouTube already takes 45%. So there's that. And so moving right along, that's the template, right? And then there's the text. The text, again, you know, very simple. Like everything else, honestly, it's literally a drag and drop, you know, features that you have to use. So with the text, again, if they will load today and not tomorrow, because I really wanted the stream to be less than an hour, but apparently my computer had other plans. Okay, there we go. So you can see you've got the plain text option. Obviously, that's the one that's the default. But the others have got, when you hover over them, it gives you an idea of how the text actually appears. You know, I've used this typewriter one and I've used the statement one. I think I've used the stencil one as well. So when you hover over them, you get to see roughly how the text actually will appear when you add it, you know. So it's up to you, depending on what type of text that you want to actually use, then you can be able to use that, you know. So this is like a variety of them, from ones with, you know, multicolors to lower thirds. This is if you're labeling things as you are giving commentary, you know, or if you're doing something where you're rating something, you can actually give a rating system, you can quote. So it's pretty cool. And obviously this is like if you're creating like a meme video that you want to turn into a GIF, it actually gives you the option to do that too. And then obviously things like sales for people who've got like shops and stuff like that, and they want to create a video, specifically an advert, you know. And so yeah, the text, I must admit, they're not that many. I don't know if more become available if you upgrade, but yeah, this is what you get. But to be honest, with text, you don't even need it to be that special, especially if you are a beginner, if you are a novice at using Clipchamp and video editing as in general. You don't need anything more than this, because I think this is more than enough for you to be able to utilize. The next section is graphics. Graphics is basically where you get like things like backgrounds, like say backgrounds, overlays, shapes, annotations. So this is if you're giving like certain particular tutorials, etc., stickers and GIFs as well. So you don't even have to, if you see people who normally put GIFs into their videos, you know, depending on type of editing style and branding style that they have, you find that some people tend to use GIFs to add more humor into their videos, etc. You can actually just click on there and then add the GIFs or add the stickers to your file, any shapes that you want to add. So it depends on what it is that you're trying to create, again, like I said, you know. And then the stickers up here and then the stickers down here. As you can see, these stickers though, I think they're from the company that does Giphy, and then there's the stickers that come with Microsoft that you can be able to utilize. And then obviously music and SFX. Music and SFX is kind of self-explanatory in the sense that there's the music that you can be able to utilize. You can actually play the music, you know. There you go. That way you can preview it, you get to play it, to listen to it and see if it's music that you actually like. That way you know whether you want to add it to your file or not. And then now with the music, you can see the ones that have got little diamond on them. The ones that have got diamond on them, obviously they're the premium versions that come with a premium upgrade. And so you can actually just click to choose the free. It says it's free to use, and then just click on see more, you know, and then that way you're just scrolling through the ones that are free to use. Obviously if you're looking for a specific sound, and by sound I mean like if you're looking for hip-hop or classic or, you know, Afrobeats, etc., that sort of thing, you can just type it in here and then they'll show up. Any ones that are free will say free, and any that are premium will have the little premium logo next to them. And that's pretty much it, really. You know, once you add the music, it's going to upload it onto your media. That way it kind of saves it there, so that anytime you close this, it's still going to be there. You don't have to go and re-download it, basically. And then transitions, again, another very self-explanatory. If you've got certain cuts, you know, within your edit, right, and you want to add transitions in between, that's where the transitions kind of come into play. And the transitions, you can see there's quite a decent variety, I must say. And even the most basic one, like crossfade, is the most, you know, one that's used the most. There's crossfade, and then the other ones have got all kinds of shapes, you know. Some of them zoom in, zoom out, they spin and stuff like that. So again, depending on what it is that you prefer to use, you go ahead and use that. My recommendation is, when you have developed your style for your branding, it is always highly recommended that you stick to the same type of transitions, the same type of format that you utilize for every single video. That's the reason why for all my YouTube shorts and TikToks, if I do create them from there, because some of them are just creating directly from my phone, but if I do create them from in here, I basically just change the footage. I leave everything else as is, and I literally just change the footage, and I change the music if I need to change the music, and obviously the caption, because this caption that you see that I created says a typical day with the Real House of Atlanta, caption this, right? I actually created a text to speech for it, so that when you play back,
caption this,
okay, it tells people to actually caption it, and then it kind of starts and plays the music. It was just a coincidence that when I actually created this, the music actually went perfectly well. I said, this is so good, because of the way I kind of zoomed in. What I am a bit gutted about is I didn't record more of this particular scene, because honestly it's so bizarre that I created Sims of Housewives, and they behave, although obviously I gave them similar characteristics, like traits, to their real life counterparts, but it's hilarious seeing them interact with one another, because it feels like I'm literally watching a Sims version of the Housewives, you know. But yeah, so pretty much if I had a cut in here, then I would have to, like, if I had split it, which let me try and split it actually, just to give you an idea. So if so in order to split, you just move the cursor where you want it to be, so the line where you want to split the footage, right? Make sure that you have selected the footage, okay, and then you can just right click. When you right click, it gives you the option to either duplicate it, copy it, split it, and then obviously audio. Right now I muted this audio because I didn't need it unmuted, because I was going to add music to it anyways, and it was going to be useless audio for me, so I actually muted it. Now the other way you can actually mute your audio is actually by actually just clicking the audio here, and it mutes it. And obviously the other option is when you right click, it asks you to, you know, mute it. And also if you notice the audio, it's got the option, it says detach. So for example, if you want to change up the footage slightly but want to keep the audio as is, it allows you to detach the audio from the footage, and then you're able to edit them separately, basically. So it gives you the option. Obviously this option, there's an option to delete that particular footage that I've right clicked on, but we're not trying to do that, we're trying to split it. So the split option, as you can see, it's got the S, which is the shortcut key, so you can actually just press S. So long as the cursor is where you want it to be, it will actually split it in the middle right there. Or the drop down menu, just as I'm showing you right now, and you click on split, and it actually divides the footage. As you can see, it will always show buffering whenever the footage is actually separated. Now as you can see, this footage is footage that was recorded in 1080p, but I actually had to edit it in order to get the Housewives, edited in the format of TikTok and Shorts. That's why you see this outline that is actually showing around because of that. And so if I want to go ahead and add a transition, all I have to do is look for the transition that I want to add. So for example, here let's say for example, I want to add the cross blur. Cross blur is actually a good transition to actually add, especially if you want simplicity. So the moment I press and hold on cross blur, you'll see what happens is it shows the little plus sign there, and it allows me to drag and drop it right there. And then once you've got your transition added, it actually changes where it's got that yin yang type look where one side is green, one side is black, which means you can actually go ahead and actually test it out. So if I press from here, and it even shows you where there's a slight green hue showing, there is where the transition starts and obviously where the transition ends, so that when you press play, see that blurry, there we go. And so that's your transition pretty much added. I actually like this particular because that's Candy, and she's like thinking, I don't know what she's thinking about, and you've got Nene trying to go like, whatever girl. I don't know. This is why I'm gutted that I didn't film this more, because I feel like it could not have been so much more accurate, because even when you scroll back, you've got Portia really, really happy, and you've got Kenya actually in a bit of a mood, like she's angry at Portia, and then obviously as you scroll through, you've got Candy looking at Nene and thinking, and Nene probably thinking of ways to kind of like what can I do to get Nene under Nene's skin again, or something like that. But as you continue to go, it goes on to Cynthia, and Cynthia being her loopy loop self. I just find that funny. Anyways, let's continue with the tutorial before I got carried away with my Sims Housewives. So yeah, that's pretty much the transition, So I'm going to press undo a couple of times. There we go. And that way I undo the process I just made. And then I'm now going to go to the stock video. Now, stock video, like I mentioned to you, if you don't want to have to go through Pexels, Unsplash and all that stuff to get stock footage, and other websites to get stock footage and images, Clipchamp actually has that available for you. Now, similar to the music, okay, it's got premium versions as well, and it's got free versions as well. And so the free to use, you can see it's up there. You can just click there, see more, and it will actually show you as much as you need to see, and then you can just pick from them. And you can also see the duration of each footage, so that it gives you an idea of how much space it's going to take up, especially if you've already told yourself to say, okay, I actually want to make a, for example, if you said that you want to make a, I don't know, a 5-minute video, but you want to add X amount of stock footage to depict what it is that you were talking about, you'll be able to have the opportunity to just add as many as you want to add, or repeat one over and over again, depending on what, if you're doing a voiceover, etc. Right? And again, similar to the music, you can actually hover. Right now I even accidentally hovered over this, but you can see it's showing me the movement of that particular footage. And then there's another one that's kind of similar, so these can go hand in hand, to do with families. So there's honestly a variety, and then there's some which are just plain, just gorgeous backgrounds that you can be able to utilize. So there's quite a huge variety, honestly. And like I said, similar to we're not using those, but similar to the music and the SFX, you can actually search for a particular theme you're looking for, whether it's office or sunset or family or gaming or Christmas or whatever, or Halloween if you're into that kind of gory stuff. But you get my point. And then when they come up, you just make sure that you check, if you're looking for the free version, just make sure, download the ones that are free, add the ones that are free, and then the ones that have got the diamond next to them, obviously those ones are not free to use. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it. And again, the way I showed you how to add the template is literally the exact same way that you add the music, you add the footage, you add the images, pretty much the exact same way. You can either click the plus button, so long as the cursor is in the place that you want it to be. You see with this here, when I click that, it's gonna literally try and come in between, and it will push some of the footage to the side. So you have to be very, very careful before you click on that plus button, which is automatic. When you do it, make sure your cursor is at the end of your footage. If you're not sure, like the end, you can either zoom in and out. And again, I'm going to go through the timeline properly, because obviously right now I'm skipping back and forth because I'm still going through this particular timeline, but I will go through this where I'll show you what each function actually does and how to basically maneuver around it and be able to edit more efficiently without any issues. Obviously, this is quite a lot of information I'm uploading to you, but honestly, I can promise you, once you get the hang of it, you'll be like, oh, what was I afraid of? Like, it's really, really very basic and very simple. And so that's the stock video. And now when we go to the stock images, pretty much like what I've just shown you with the stock video, it works the exact same way, you know, free to use, you know, block colors. I love the fact that it's got the block colors, because sometimes when I'm looking to just cover certain things, it actually gives me that. So this is actually what I use here. This block color is what I used for the background of the what is this? The caption. That's it, the caption. And again, I'm going to show you how I was able to utilize it and get it to fit just there, because when you actually add the block colors, they're actually more 180p type size, and then you have to kind of resize them. But this has got an amazing cropping functionality, which is just chef's kiss. So yep, you can see it's a Hanukkah, Christmas images, etc. And feel free to still click on them, even if it's showing you a lot of premium ones. That way you can see through the list to see if there's any free ones available, you know. And so, you know, you can kind of, as you can scroll, you can see, you know, there's literally a variety. Again, it all is dependent on your preference. Okay. And then obviously brand kit is the one that I mentioned earlier on, which it requires you to actually upgrade, right? If you do choose the upgrade option, which is £9.99 for us, which is obviously just over $10 I think for you guys, although I have a feeling in the USA it's probably likely to be $10 if you're in the USA. And it basically, whatever it is that you're utilizing, it allows you to actually just save the fonts that you've used, the colors that you've used, the logos that you've used. That way you don't have to try and remember what you used every single time. It just makes the process a lot easier. But again, I reiterate, honestly, once you get started using it, because it allows you to save your files anyways, and by save I mean literally once you've created a particular video template of your own, that template stays as is, and you can just like switch things up slightly, you know, without too much hustle. And then if there's a particular font that you use all the time, I doubt very much that you're gonna forget what that font is, you know what I mean? And so yeah, that's kind of like that part. Now let's get to the actual editing process of it. Okay, so we're gonna click back on my media. Okay, and so in this particular situation, I obviously had the Housewives footage here. Because I'm going to be deleting it anyway, so it's okay for me to mess with it. As you can see, because this is a very long video, as you can clearly see, but I chose a particular position so that I can be able to maintain it for my TikTok and YouTube short, right? And so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to replace this footage. Okay, now if you are adding footage for the first time, you know, obviously it's pretty easy. All you have to do, I'm just gonna bring this over here and I'm going to show you how I just did that. I know I need to keep remembering that I'm actually doing a tutorial and I'm doing this for myself. So you can either bring the footage in literally by dragging and dropping. Okay, that's an option, as you can see, drag and drop. Or, and this is if there's no footage yet, drag and drop is if you've got no footage yet, but also if you want to add it at the end manually yourself and actually kind of like, you know, kind of have control over your, you know, your import. I'm just going to click undo. The other option, like I mentioned, I'm going to bring the cursor to the front. Okay, and then I'm going to click the plus. This is just to show you how this will work. Add to timeline, click the plus, the cursor's there. It should bring it right there. Okay, oh yes, that's another thing I forgot. So whenever you try to bring things to the timeline when there's other footage, it will literally pick a new layer. So that's something to look out for. And that's the reason why, unless I'm starting from scratch, I do tend to use the drag and drop option. Okay, so I'm going to click undo on that, and I'm going to click undo again. That way this footage can come back to the front. today. It should undo. Okay, that's weird. Okay, we're just gonna bring it forward. I don't know why it's refusing. We're just gonna drag it forward. As you can see, like if you're trying to trim footage but you don't, it's especially at the beginning of it or at the end of it, honestly you don't even need to do the split thing or anything like that. You literally just click on the beginning of the footage and you see the arrows pointing both directions show up, and you can just drag it, you know. And the same kind of applies with the end side of it. You can literally just drag it. Just click on there, hover over it, and then drag it, and you're good to go. If it's going to listen, as you can see, it's frozen side. There we go. Okay, we're going to get through this eventually. So I'm going to undo that twice over. Okay. And undo again. Oh, okay, this thing doesn't... Okay, thank you. I was thinking, what the heck, man? Like, you can undo a drag. Okay, so now, if you already have footage in your timeline that you just want to replace, you don't have to actually just click on the footage and, you know, right click delete or click on the delete button there. You can actually just drag it on top of the previous footage, and this is how it works. So I'm gonna grab that. As you can see, I think it all depends on the mouse, how you've set up your mouse cursor. Obviously mine has got the little hand that shows up, and I've got a little draggy thing. It kind of drags whenever I've got the arrow. So I'm gonna click on it, and I'm literally dragging it here, okay, and I'm gonna drag it right on top. You can see, and as I'm hovering on top of it, you can see the option here. It's saying replace. Oh, let's do that again. Yeah, there we go. It's saying replace. And so which means it's asking me if I want to replace it, and I'm going to click yes. And by that, I'm literally letting go. So once I let go, it should start the replacement process, hopefully. Hello? Okay, let's try that again. I don't know why that did not work. Did it replace it? Girl? Thank you. Jeez. I was wondering, like, I know it did it. It's because it's moving so slowly. Now, bear in mind, whenever you're replacing footage, it will always take the length, and any edits that you made to that particular footage, right, it's going to adapt it. So always remember that if you slow down or you sped up that footage, whatever it is that you're replacing it with, it's going to be faster or slower, okay? It's going to be cropped up or not, you know, depending on what edits that you had. So that's the advantage. If you're doing the whole TikTok thing, it will take the format of the previous one that you've just replaced. And so in this case, not only does it take the format, it also takes the length. So if the footage was basically shorter than the one that you're actually replacing it with, it will actually maintain the shorter footage. So always remember to stretch your footage out. Now with this one, to be honest, I don't think I even need to, because it kind of repeats the action anyways. So I'm actually going to leave it at 30 seconds. If truth be told, I don't need it to be any longer. Okay, I'm going to bring down 30 seconds. There we go. And you notice that wherever you have the cursor on a particular place, it actually turns pink, or it gets highlighted. Although I'm not on 30 seconds exactly, am I? That's 30 seconds. Okay, so if you are looking for precision when it comes to like the seconds, etc., that sort of thing, you basically can zoom in and out. Okay, so it's got the option where you can click Control equals and Control minus. So if I click on Control, okay, equals, it will zoom in. Okay, and you can zoom in until it grays off. But this allows you to have the precise, basically, frames. And I do tend to do that quite a lot, because especially if I want things, it's the small things that I'm trying to edit very specifically. So there. Now here it's got obviously 30.1 second. So I'm going to click Control and equals again so it can zoom in some more. Because you can literally get it frame for frame if you choose to. It's actually possible. It's a huge zoom in, but it's very, very handy if you are one who likes things to be extremely precise. So as you can see that it's slightly off the line anyways. So I'm going to bring it down if it will let me. It's being funny again. Okay, it's literally, it's not, it's going to 29999 and to, come on, mate. Oh, now you're gone way too far away. Can we not? Has anyone even got time for this? There you go. That's specific. Now, can I zoom in some more? Okay, so you can also click on the plus, of course, that's an option. But I was just kind of showing you, like, you can do control equals. So if I zoom in some more, I will have the option to either, as a matter of fact, rather than try to do the whole dragging, I can actually right click on this and actually split it right there. And it should split it. It should have split it. Hello? Okay, it's being weird. Did it split it? Because it's being slow, I don't know, I can't tell. So because it didn't do what I asked, I'm just going to drag it. And there we go, we've got the 30 seconds to be exact. Okay, and so now I'm going to actually, because it's completely zoomed out now, yes. I'm actually going to zoom in, so I can just click on that. Or I can do control and minus, so I can do control and minus. And that should zoom back out. Okay, now I'm not zooming out fully because I want to be able to see what I'm doing with these others. And so what I plan on doing here is, as you can see, when I hover over there, the line comes up, the purple line. This is actually the option for me to drag this up. Obviously it's going to make the preview screen smaller, but that's fine. But that's because I want to see these clearly. And so I'm going to use this option to drag and select. Okay, so I'm going to like just select somewhere here where there's nothing, and I'm going to click, right click on my mouse. Is it right click? Left click on my mouse, and then drag so that I can select these. Now the reason why I'm doing it like this is because this one is not there, so which means it doesn't get selected. It only selects this 1, 2, 3, right? Because I want to bring all of these back this way. And so here I'm going to now just go backwards, go backwards, go backwards, go backwards, and boom, there. That way everything stops at the exact same moment. And then I'm going to use this to now zoom out some more. And I do tend to zoom out quite a lot sometimes as well, because simply because I want to see the full timeline to see if there's anything that looks a bit off, you know. So I'm going to use control minus. It's quicker. Sometimes it's really weird. Using the keys on the keyboard is actually quicker sometimes than having to use the mouse and clicking on particular items. So now I'm going to actually click on that again. I'm going to bring that back down. Okay, so now when you're working with your timeline, right, you can see you've got the options. There's variety of options, obviously. Once you've added whatever features that you need, and maybe you want more space within your, you know, your work area, you can actually click on that tab and it will bring that in. Okay, and then this section here that you see is actually the section that allows you to edit said options. So whether it be the captions, the color of the you know, of the block color, the footage, the sound, you know, any captions that are text to speech, literally the editing of those takes place on this side. So this side is basically the side where you add all the items from, and then this side is the side where you do the editing from. And so I'm going to close that again because I clicked on it whilst explaining. And for the most cases, once you've done everything, honestly, you don't even need these tabs fully open. You just need them closed off like this. That way you've got more space, you know what I mean, to work with. And so here, I'm actually going to be changing the caption. So obviously, had I been adding the text, I would have selected the text that I wanted and just click the plus button. It will always add it on a new timeline, on a new layer, more or less. And then you can just stretch it. Like, as you can see, I was able to stretch it in. You can literally just stretch it depending on where you want the text to display and how long you want the text to display for. So in this case, I'm going to click on that. Okay. And then I'm going to go and edit the text. So now you can see this is captions. You know, click to edit text. It even gives you instructions if you want. And here, all I have to do is click on text. Okay, when I click on the T for text, these are the options available to me. It says use text to finesse your fonts and writing. To finesse, you know. So here there's the option to edit the text. Now some of the text you can actually edit it within here, and some of it you can actually edit it directly from here, depending on the type of animation, etc. that it has. It will give you those options accordingly. So here when I click on edit text, I can actually just double click on there, but I'm not going to do that, because if I do that, I'm actually going to move it, because sometimes it jerks around slightly because the mouse is not always that trustworthy. So I would rather I just, whilst I've got it selected down here, click on edit text. When I do that, it highlights all the text. So this particular one, as you can see, the caption that I'm trying to come up with is one where you can see she's actually eating a burger, but she's also weeding her garden, right? And so if I click play,
Caption this.
Okay, I need to get rid of this. I'm gonna actually mute this one completely. Okay, and then I'm actually gonna get rid of this. I don't need that. Okay, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna get rid of the sound too, because that's not the music I want. That's literally not the music that I want. Come on, get rid, delete. So basically, you can literally, once you select on something, you want to get rid of it in its entirety, you can actually just click on the delete button on your keyboard. Obviously, the other option, like I showed you earlier, you can right click and then click bin, or you can click on it and then you have the delete option there with the bin there. You know, that's an option. And so as you can see, she's eating a burger whilst weeding, right? And the caption that I want to use in this particular situation, okay, if it will let me, let's click on the text, please. Thank you. Text, edit text. Okay, selected. I want to say, who says women? Wait. No. It's men who cannot multitask. So I'm going to say, what do I want to say? Women are always multitasking. Women are forever multitaskers. Okay, women are forever the multitaskers. And then I'm going to put an emoji. Okay, so for those who have never really utilized emojis and stuff like that on their keyboard, it's actually pretty cool. All you have to do is click on your Windows, press on your Windows key, okay, and then press on the period or full stop. Okay, Windows key press period will bring up your emoji shortcuts. And then you even have the ones that, you know, the old school emojis. You know, you've got that option there, you've got the emojis there, you know, and you can literally go through the list, and it even gives you the option to choose your color skin tone for them. You know, it will change them accordingly, you know. So you can actually choose your preferred skin tone, basically just like all the other emojis. The only thing that it's missing, it doesn't have the flags. So I was kind of disappointed that it doesn't have the flags. With the flags, you literally have to use the application that you're actually using at the time, try and find the flags. But I do like that. So here I'm actually going to put this one, grinning face with sweat emoji. Weird that it's actually changed slightly once I've put it up there, but that's done. So close the emojis option. Like I said, Windows key plus period, or Windows key plus period, or Windows key plus full stop if you call the period a full stop, whichever one. And the font that I've actually maintained using is Bebas New, because I'm very familiar with it. But also I didn't want anything that was too tedious to look at, basically, so that when I click out of it, you can see women are forever the multitaskers, and done. And so with this one, I didn't even have to do too much. As you can see, the footage is again long. You know, if I do this, obviously she's going to be off, so I'm literally just maintaining her to be right within there, which is fine. And then I have muted the footage. Obviously the footage, I don't even know if I recorded it with sound when I recorded it, but just to be safe, I'm actually muting it by clicking on the little speaker there, right there. Obviously the other way is you can always, you know, do it from there on the audio section there. It will actually allow you to mute it that way. And then there's the option to detach the audio, like I mentioned earlier on, which is also another option, which when you right click, it's got the option there available, but also it's there on the control panel on your right hand side. The other things that you can actually be able to do is, if you happen to be, there's a lot of talking going on, there is the option for captions. Turn on auto captions. YouTube actually has auto captions, so you can either turn it on here or turn on the auto captions within YouTube, and then YouTube will generate them for you, or you can turn them on from here and then it will have the captions. But bear in mind, if you do it from here, those captions will permanently be on screen. So my recommendation is that you use the ones on YouTube. That way people can actually have the option to turn them on and off themselves. And then obviously the next option, you've looked at the audio, where you can actually put the volume up. Because it's muted, that's why it's on 0. And then fade, this is a fade in and fade out. I don't need it to fade in and fade out because this is going to be a short and it's also going to be a TikTok, so that's fine. And then filters are basically, you know, filters if you want to change the color, but I actually like the color that I have going on here, so I don't think I really need to change it. But this is just to, I'm doing this just so you can see, you know, you can change to black and white, you know, and when you hover over a color, it actually shows you a preview of the color. So this prevents you from having to add it and then having to change your mind and having to fidget even more. I like this old western because it's got slightly sepia, which is pretty cool, but I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to keep the one I have, you know. But this is just to give an idea. Like I said, adjust colors. This is if you want to adjust the colors a little bit on a more manual standpoint, as opposed to just doing filters. You get to add more exposure, saturation, temperature, contrast, you know. Even the blending mode, you know, if anyone's ever used blending mode, screen, overlay, you know, that sort of thing. So again, depending on what's in the background, obviously will affect. There's nothing in the background, so obviously none of these really would be ideal. And then opacity, if you want it to be slightly transparent, you know, and again, there's nothing in the background, so this is kind of like null and void to use, to be honest, you know. And then last but not least on this section is the speed, right? The speed is basically the one that allows you to either make the footage faster or slower. Right now my speed is on 0.6. Now I'm actually going to put it on normal. I think normal is 1, because for the Housewives I had actually slowed it down, so I'm actually going to do this. Hopefully you just stay at 1 and then we're good, because I think that's its normal speed if I'm not mistaken. Now because I've done that, if you notice my footage is actually shortened, so I'm actually going to select it and I'm going to bring this down. And even if the cursor is not there, when it reaches the same alignment, it should change. It should, like, there you go, it literally a line pops up to tell me, but obviously I've gone beyond when I was letting go, so I'm going to do that again. There we go. I keep moving. Why do I keep doing that? Ugh. Stop. I think my mouse is not listening. Okay, there you go. So that's actually brought my footage down to being 18 seconds, and I'm actually okay with that. I was actually okay with it being shorter. So now I think she should be moving at a normal pace. So every time you make any edits, any changes, you know, you can actually just press play to preview them. You've even got the option to do the preview in widescreen, and then obviously skip to the next frame, etc., that sort of thing, you know, in terms of the previews. If you want to repeat particular footage, you can either use that option to duplicate it, or Control D, or right click here obviously and duplicate it from there. When you do click the duplicate option, it will literally duplicate it and add it, you know, basically add it to the timeline. So we're going to do Control Z. I'm using the shortcut key now. I'm using Control Z to undo that. You know, Control Z is literally universal undo option. So you can either use the undo from there obviously, or click on Control Z. And so now that we've added the caption at the top, like I said, I showed you, did I show you how to do this one? No. Okay, so with this one, I think I cropped it. So if I, as you can see, once I've got it clicked on, it actually shows you the selection tool, like it's selected, right? So this actually gives you a few options. You can either fit it into screen. So fit is basically try and fit it as much as possible on the visible screen, and then obviously the crop option, and then picture in picture. This is if you were recording your camera completely separately, right, from the footage that you're screen recording, then you've added the footage of the camera into the timeline, then it allows you to do a picture in picture, then you can be able to edit accordingly. And then this is to rotate it if it's like not aligned the right way, and obviously to flip it horizontally and flip it vertically. So this is pretty cool, and again makes it so easy. And all you have to do to crop, basically click on that little crop option. If you've used any software before, the crop symbol is literally the same all around. So when I click on the crop option, you can see this is actually showing you how much of it I cropped. Okay, so not only did I crop it when I made it smaller, but when I actually initially had it, it was like this. It was big like this, literally. It was big like this, and then I was like, I can't use that. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I might have changed the opacity as well. Let me see. Yep, I changed the opacity as well. I made it like a lot lighter, because initially I think I was trying to place it above the actual footage, and then I realized, okay, I actually place it at the top because the footage actually fits only this particular section. And so when I did the crop, as you can see, okay, the reason why it's lighter, obviously the opacity is still reduced, but it's a lot lighter on the sections that are actually cropped out. And the crop, again, like I said, very easy. It literally just does this, and then you can just crop to your heart's content. So here I'm going to just crop it back up like that. And then once you're done with the crop, it shows you exactly what you're cropping, and then you can just either revert to the original or click done by checking it, and then done. And you're good to go. That's pretty much it, really. It's honestly not difficult, and it does the same. Like, for example, even with the main footage, right, even if I have just selected this section, I can actually go a step further, okay, whilst I've got it selected, and click on crop and literally just crop it in. And this might be handy when it comes to the rendering, because I think a lot of footage, whenever you haven't cropped stuff out or taken out certain bits and pieces, remove them, it actually, even if it's not visible, it still technically renders it. So here I've cropped it in, and then because I'm done now, I can just click done, and it's done, and that's now cropped. So now if I attempt to click on it and I try to move it, obviously it's going to be a blank space because it's cropped, right? So I'm going to just click undo on that and get it back in the middle. And then that way we've got the caption, we've got the footage exactly the way we want it. So now you've seen how I've added the caption at the top. You've seen how this works in terms of the block, the block color, which I showed you how to drag and drop stuff from there. And then you've seen how I can crop the footage, I can change aspects of it from the speed to the color to the filters. I can add fade in and fade out, but like I said, because this is a quick video anyways, it doesn't need fade in and fade out, but the options are there and they're available. All the way to muting it with the audio and adding captions. And now what we're going to do is we're actually going to now try and add two elements, right? I'm going to add the caption, okay? I'm going to add the caption that actually says women are forever, they're multitaskers, and then I'm going to add the music. Now the music I'm actually going to add is music that I actually collected from YouTube Studio. Okay, and the reason why I'm not taking the risk of using the music from here is because, like I said, there was a copyright claim, not strike, but a claim, and I didn't like that. And I was like, look, if you're gonna make this music free to use, it should be free, copyright free, all across the board. I do not want, when my channel is monetized, all these external parties are actually taking the little percentage that YouTube is already giving, you know. So I'm gonna start with the text to speech. Okay, I'm literally gonna say the exact same thing. Women are forever, they're multitaskers. There's no point for me to put LOL because it's literally gonna say LOL, so we're gonna not do that. So where's our text to speech? Is on record. Okay, record and create is where the text to speech is, so I'm just going to click the arrow there. It's going to bring the pop-up, it's going to load it. See, it always, by the way, standardly it always has the United States. It's a little bit annoying because I prefer UK, I think that's a downside, because like again, this has got to do with the upgrade. If you do the upgrade, then it would keep everything as you prefer every single time. You don't have to keep changing things every time. But to be honest, this is not a deal breaker. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with having to change it every single time. So we're gonna go with Abby because that's who we picked last time, and then I'm gonna say, what was it that I said? Women are forever they're multi-taskers. And then obviously sometimes it's good to add hyphenations, commas, etc., that sort of thing, especially if you want the voiceover to speak in a certain way. You might even have to spell certain words differently in order to get the voiceover to spell them correctly, if that makes sense. You know, so I'm just gonna do a preview of that real quick.
Women are forever the multitaskers.
Brilliant. So it's saved it perfectly, so I'm going to save that media. Okay, save to media. So it's going to start uploading it, and then when it's done, I am going to just bring that cursor all the way to the beginning. And the reason why I'm bringing it to the beginning is because I'm actually going to use the plus.
Women are forever the multitaskers.
And then it's going to actually add it to a new timeline at the bottom. Because it's audio, it will never come above the footage. It'll always go below the footage. And so now I can just do this and press play to test it out.
Women are forever the multitaskers.
Okay, so leave that in, and now I'm gonna go over to YouTube Studio to collect the music. Now I've got a bunch of YouTube YouTube library music on my desktop and my hard drive, but just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm actually gonna go and get it from scratch. And so this is where I am gonna click on that. Hopefully you can still see that, right? Yes, hopefully. And I'm going to click on, as a matter of fact, I don't need to keep this. I'm going to go to YouTube. No, feed subscription. Okay, just youtube.com. That's fine. Then I should have just clicked on that, to be honest. I've got the shortcut. But we're going to go to YouTube, and then we're going to go to YouTube Studio. And then within the YouTube Studio, we are going to be able to actually, I'll show you how to access the audio files, which are completely and utterly free. You can monetize your music, your videos to your heart's content, and you will not get any copyright strikes, you know, that sort of thing. Okay, so that's me. I was showing my own thing. That's weird. I was like, what's that? Elaka's watching what? I'm like, no, that's your own thing, girl. That's your own, literally. Okay, so you just have to get to the YouTube Studio. For those who don't know, just click on your thumbnail, your avatar, and then click on YouTube Studio. When you click on YouTube Studio, it should take you straight to the studio, where basically you get to upload, where you get to start the live stream like I did. You get to schedule your video, schedule your live stream, you know, that sort of thing. And now I just have to have the patience to wait for it to get there. Oh, I literally have zero patience when it comes to technology. I don't know why. I prefer things to just be like really, really quick. Okay, so we're gonna go straight to the audio library, right? It took me to customization. It said no, audio library, darling. Okay, audio library, as you can see, is all the way at the bottom, above settings, below customization. Customization is basically if you're customizing your channel, okay? And that's not what we're trying to do. Let me see. Come on. It's being so tediously slow. It's not even funny. Oh, now it wants to freeze. No, you can wait for it to unfreeze. I don't have time for that. Okay, I think it's there because it's saying music. So, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Nobody had time for that, mate. Come on. We've got work to do. We're trying to give a tutorial and you're taking your flipping dear time. Okay, so I'm going to start explaining audio library whilst it kind of like loads up. So basically, when you go to the audio library, which is obviously located in YouTube Studio, you get an option of a list of tracks. And I was happy to find out, I think maybe 2-3 weeks ago now, that it now offers music with lyrics. Why does it keep wanting to freeze? Okay, I'm gonna exit the page. I'm just gonna give it what it wants, and then I'm gonna reload. I don't know why it felt the need. Let's see, it's, yeah, I'm gonna, okay, so I was happy to find out that it has an option now where you can find music that has actually got lyrics, because once upon a time, all the music from YouTube audio library never had, literally never had lyrics to it. So every single song that you downloaded, especially if you're trying to create a story that doesn't have like voiceovers and stuff like that, the music actually helps to draw the story, especially if it's a sim story, you know, the music actually helps. And music with lyrics, should I say, helps. And so to have music that doesn't have lyrics every single time, sometimes that can be a bit of a deterrent. So let's reload this. Let's see, you know, so I'm happy now that you actually have the option of music with lyrics and music that's just instrumentals, you know. That's a huge plus. Now hopefully this time round it will be able to give us the studio. And so basically with the music that you find, you can literally find music that's like 20 minutes long to music that's 30 seconds long, 50 seconds long, 1 minute long, and you can actually narrow down your search accordingly. You can find hip hop. I have not seen an Afrobeat section because I think they've been trying to expand because the demand has changed, right? Oh my gosh, why is it being like this? I don't have time for this. It's because of the stupid survey. I don't want your survey. How are you not going to allow me to get into my studio? Hang on. Yeah, look at it. What is this about? Let's go back to YouTube. What on earth is this about? Mate. Oh, so now it displays it just when I'm clicking away. This is what you call Sod's Law. This is literally what you call Sod's Law. Unbelievable. Well, I left. Okay, let's go. Let's try and click the back button. Oh, maybe it's my lack of patience that's trying to teach me a lesson. I don't know. Let me have a drink. No alcohol, by the way. I'm drinking lemon water. Come on. My gosh, this is so tedious. It's not even funny. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Because boy, oh boy, oh boy, you sure are taking long. It's actually testing my patience, I'll tell you that much. It's really testing my patience. Oh, child, I cannot deal with this. I can't deal with this. No, seriously, like, thank you. My gosh. Thank you. It only took you like, I don't know, how many minutes did it eat up? It probably just took up like a minute, but it felt like it took 10 minutes more or more. Okay, are we done? Okay, we're done. Brilliant. Now, this, when you go to the audio library, this is what you see. And for those who normally have like, it's all white and stuff like that, I really highly recommend that you change your settings so that you have dark mode, because dark mode is actually better for your eyesight. It's not so jarring for your eyes. So that's a little bit of a tidbit for those who don't know. Like if you noticed, almost everything that I use for the most part is in dark mode, unless the application itself doesn't have an option for dark mode. I always consistently use dark mode because it's better for your eyesight, especially if you spend a lot of time on the computer. I would recommend that you turn everything to dark mode. For my actual Chrome, if you see it's got like a blue, but it's a bit of a darker blue rather than a bright one, is because I chose dark mode and then I changed it to actually have a blue hue to it. That way it's still in dark mode, but with blue, my favorite color. So in the YouTube audio library, as you can see here, it says search or filter library, and then it's got the option for sound effects as well. I forgot to mention that the SFX, actually the sound effects are available also in Clipchamp as well. Sound effects, so if you've got any sound effects that you want to use, etc. So here I'm actually free. I was avoiding playing the sounds from Clipchamp too much. So these are kids playing, like, you know, any ambience that you want to add to any footage that you are making, anything that you're creating, etc., that sort of thing. it actually gives you that brilliant option to have, you know, and you can search for the particular sound effects that you're looking for. Okay. You can save certain sounds. So let's say, for example, you come across something and you like it, you can actually save it. You can see I haven't saved anything here. That's because a lot of my saves are actually in the EP Creative Media YouTube channel for my Sims. So I do save a lot of sounds there, and then some of them music, that is, than sounds, but a lot of them are actually already downloaded. And so, like I said, I'm only doing this just so I can use it for the tutorial. And so what are we looking for? So the woman is eating and she's weeding, so we want something that's a little bit mid-tempo. We don't want something that's too calm, but not something too hectic either. So I'm going to start with mood. So when you literally click, let me click out of this. If you literally click on your with your mouse in that section, the drop down automatically comes in. So you don't even have to right click. You literally just click on it, and then the drop down menu actually comes up. And so we're going to choose the mood. Okay. And the mood that you see, it's got angry, bright, calm, dark, dramatic, funky, happy, inspirational, romantic, or sad. So I'm going to choose inspirational, and I'm going to choose happy. There it is. Okay, those two. And then I'm going to click apply. And that narrows it down to that. Now, do I want a particular genre? Possibly. So I'm going to click again within the space, and the menu should pop up if it wants to. There we go. So if you know the track, you can actually choose track title, but I doubt it if you're trying to find something new. Obviously the artist name as well. There's some artists who you do find that they actually have some really, really good songs. So if you know them and you've kept them on a list somewhere, you can actually just search for them. And then the duration, depending on the length of if you're very specific about what type of length you're looking for. This is normally handy if you've got a really long video and you want to avoid having to download like 1 minute songs. You know, let's say if it's a 30-minute video, the last thing you want is to have to download songs that are 1 minute and 30 seconds. You know, I would prefer to find songs that are like 7 minutes plus, etc. That way there's less for me to add to the timeline. And so here I'm just going to click on genre. Okay, and the genre that I'm going to look for is jazz, hip hop, dance, and electronic. Cinematic, maybe, actually. R&B and soul, maybe. Okay, I'm getting carried away. Maybe pop as well, and apply. Okay, we're done. Okay, so that kind of narrows it down. As you can see, it always says the track title, the genre, the mood, the artist name, the duration is down here, license type. License type is basically when you hover over the little YouTube thing, it will tell you YouTube audio library license. You can use this audio track in any of your videos, including videos that you monetize. No attribution is required. You can even choose the option when you click in the space again, attribution not required, attribution required. Now, even if it's got attribution required, you don't have to worry about copying and pasting the information, because once you add that music to your track, YouTube will automatically embed the information for that particular artist onto your video. So that will be the attribution that will be needed. Honestly speaking, whether attribution is required or not, either way, you can actually still use it copyright free, because that seems to be the license all around anyways. The only difference is whether attribution is required or not. If you find that it hasn't embedded the attribution, if you've got the song saved, you can just go back into the YouTube studio and actually just copy and paste the information. And like I said, YouTube automatically though embeds that information onto your video description anyway, so you don't have to stress about remembering to copy and paste that stuff, especially if you have not really been accustomed yet to... Oh, it's midnight.
This is a reminder. Recite my positive affirmation.
Okay.
This is a reminder. Recite my positive affirmation.
Well, that's Alexa. And so, yeah, basically, you know, if you're not accustomed to having to really format your description section, this might be something that may be an extra tedious thing, but you don't have to worry about that because YouTube will do it for you. And so once you have found the track that you are looking for, all you have to do once you're looking through them is literally click the play button like you would any music store. You know, you press play. Okay. I'm trying to figure out, is it showing me Christmas songs? There's a whole bunch of Christmas songs. Okay, let me try and let's see this hip hop one. Poolside Radio. So you can see that, let me pause for 1 second. You will notice that when you are playing a track, it will play at the bottom here, and you can actually fast forward. You can actually put the volume up or down. You've got that option. And then this is the option to download it. This is the option to actually star it if you want to keep it for next time, if you want to download it just as yet. And so I'm going to actually fast forward it to the middle so I can actually hear what the rest of the track sounds like. I only know it's okay. This one. Oh my gosh, I don't know, maybe it's because I've got headphones in, but the bass is so good in this song. I'm actually going to take this song, and this is the one I'm going to use for the video. And basically I'll just pick which section of the video, which section of the song I'm going to use in the video. So yeah, and that's pretty much it. You pick your song, you download it, and then you're good to go. So now I'm just going to go to my folder, audio. Wait, is that the... Do I have a music one? No, is it? What music is there though? Yeah, this is it. Okay, so that's gonna download, and then I'm gonna actually close this because I don't need it anymore. Okay. What I do try to do is whenever I'm doing editing, I do try to minimize close as many apps as I possibly can, because that does tend to hinder your progress. A lot of apps being open can slow down your system. So I'm now done with that. So I'm actually going to close that. If I need to come back to the browser, then I'm going to go ahead and do that. But for now, I don't need to. So I'm going to shut that down. And then we're going to come back in here where we are just going to go here. And then we're going to go into the folder that we just downloaded it on. Obviously, I could have easily opened it through the browser, which is an option. You know when you download something from the browser, you can actually just click on it and then open folder. It will open that way. It saves you having to go through what I'm going through right now. But I forgot to do that, so I'm having to do things the long way. And also, it helps you locate the track. Now, what was the track again? What was the name of the track? Wait. You can see I've got loads of Jesse Gallagher here, but Diala, that's the one. So now I'm going to wait. There we go. I'm going to drag and drop. Drag it and drop it into Clipchamp. And voila. Okay, so now it's preparing. As you say, loading items for your video. This won't take long, and it normally doesn't take long, if truth be told, unless it's something really, really long. It's preparing it. It's not... I cannot speak. As you can see, the percentage is kind of like counting down as it is actually adding it. So whilst it's doing that, I'm just gonna give you a few tips. Again, like I mentioned, Clipchamp is great because it allows you, it's got literally everything all in one. It makes it a lot easier for you to do your video editing and export. Actually, the export option has got an option to export to the various platforms. All you have to do is probably sign in, but I tend to just do everything manually. But that's an option for you, especially if you're not, again, fully familiar with going back and forth, etc. This actually allows you to upload things directly to the platforms. And then, like I mentioned, if you want to do edit things like your thumbnails, etc., that sort of thing, PhotoP is definitely what I recommend. Also, if you are doing voiceovers but you don't want to, you're doing a screen recording, you want to do a voiceover, in order to avoid and especially if you're recording sound from the desktop, but you also want to record your own voice, but you want to be able to edit them separately, right? I highly recommend that you use Audacity. See this app at the bottom here? This is actually Audacity. For those who don't know of Audacity is freeware, just similar to Clipchamp technically, and PhotoP, and even all the way to, what's that other software? I've forgotten the name. But yeah, OBS, the one I'm using to do the stream. They're all freeware. Okay, they're all freeware. They're free to use. And so I would highly recommend that you download Audacity, because Audacity, you can use that to actually record even any podcasts. If you want nice, clear, crisp sound, so you've got a good mic, you can use Audacity. I use Audacity whenever I'm doing a pre-recorded video. and I'm having to record the screen and the audio on the screen. In order for me to be able to edit and match everything properly, I have to have my audio of me speaking separate from the actual video audio, because that way, if for example the video audio turns out it's maybe too low but my voice is a lot louder, so I want to reduce my voice, right, and I want to increase the video audio, if they record it together in OBS or in Clipchamp, like I showed you earlier, I won't be able to edit them separate from each other, and that sucks. Like, even if you disconnect, like, you know, it's got the option to detach the audio will have the background of the music, because here I think she was whistling, the background of the music as well as me speaking in one, which means I wouldn't be able to edit them separately, which would suck. And so having Audacity, right, you'll be able to edit your video file on its own and then your audio file on its own, and you know, the levels, whatever it is that you need to do, you get to edit them without having to have a tedious task of having to re-record the whole thing, because that would be literally the only other option you would have if the sound was uneven, you know. And so now that this is done, I'm actually just gonna drag it in, and I'm actually gonna bring it here, but my plan is to get it to be just there. So I'm literally clicking and dragging here. Okay, that way when she says, and then I need to gauge.
Women are forever the multitaskers.
Okay, so I don't like that part of the song. So I'm actually going to take away a huge chunk, and then I'm going to drag that forward so I can hear what that sounds. Okay, let's see. I'm actually going to bring it up here, because what I tend to do is I gauge to see where it's loud. Can you see that that part is like super loud? And I'm assuming that could be the bass, the part that I liked, I think. Although I think that was only a few seconds in. Okay, that will do. So what I'm actually going to do now is I'm actually going to bring that here, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to split it, and then I'm going to take this, right click again, delete, and then this I'm just going to make sure that it aligns well. So I'm going to bring it out and then I'm going to bring it back in. This is just to make sure the alignment is actually on the same one as the others. Okay, and then as for the beginning of this, right, remember there's the fade in, fade out option. So I'm going to do this and I'm going to actually have it fade in. And as it's fading in, it's actually, you can see there's like a little overlay that's showing up. So that's showing me where it starts from. But I'm also going to be adjusting the reason why I'm doing it like this. Actually, I need to bring it in completely. The reason why I'm doing it like this, because I'm planning on putting this on TikTok, and with my TikTok I actually check for copyright there, and this might not have copyright clearance for TikTok. And so that's where this kind of like comes in, you know. That way I can actually be able to replace this section of the song but leave the voiceover, because the voiceover doesn't have copyright but the song has copyright. And so now I'm going to go to the audio, and I'm actually going to reduce it because it's super loud. So I'm going to reduce it by a lot. I don't need it to be that loud. Okay, let's hear it. Okay, and as for her as well, she's a bit loud too. So I'm going to reduce her too. Okay. Obviously, because I'm giving the tutorial, it looks like, oh my gosh, just for one quick little 18-second video, it's taking so long. No, it shouldn't take this long. It's only because I'm doing tutorial and everything is going slowly because I'm streaming it live.
Women are forever the multitaskers.
Okay, let's see. There you go. That way it doesn't come in harsh. And here it's a bit... Okay, so I'm gonna give it like a slight fade out If it is not really necessarily because the music does kind of become a little bit lower in sound anyways, but I'll still give it a slight fade out. So I'm gonna press play from here. Yep, that's fine. I'm actually happy with that. So that's pretty much it. Obviously, I've taken the shorter way where I'm actually showing you how to do a tutorial. This is to create shorts and TikTok videos. And now the next part is now your title, right? So you notice at the top here, it's got that section and then it's got that. If you've upgraded, it allows you to back up your files. You connect it with the cloud. Actually, I think I can still connect it with the cloud without the upgrade actually. Because then it allows me to open the file in other places, other applications, other devices, etc., that sort of thing. But with this, basically, obviously, I'm going to be changing the title to say women, let me capitalize that, women are forever the multitaskers. Okay. And so that way when I export it, the name will be there. But yeah, to the cloud one, I don't have to actually have an upgrade. I just have to connect it to my Windows, my Microsoft, my my Hotmail account for it to actually back it up. That way it backs it up in Google, no, not Google Drive. What's the other one? The Windows version, you know what it is. And then you can maybe access it in other computers, other devices, etc., that sort of thing, and actually edit the file. So this will actually be exactly the same. And like I said earlier on, there is no option to save. So if I shut this down and I reopen it, this will literally be as is. So because everything has uploaded as I needed it to, so it's fine, you know. And so now I'm going to, this is 18 seconds. So it literally, the export shouldn't take long. As you can see, it's got video quality, 480p, 720, 1080p, and then if it's a GIF, obviously GIFs have to be 15 seconds or less. So if you're creating a GIF, remember 15 seconds literally or less. So I'm off by just 3 seconds, but we're not trying to create a GIF, we're doing a video. So I'm doing a 180 1080p HD. And so as soon as I click on that, it's going to actually take me to the back end, kind of the option. There you go. So it's taken me here, and it gives you like a mini export tracker, as it says here. And then I can even create a video link, although I'm not sure why I would need to do that. I suppose if I want to send a private version of it, then it adds it to the OneDrive, I'm assuming. But it also has the option for me to save it to Google Drive, upload directly to YouTube, send to TikTok, save to OneDrive, save to Dropbox, save to Pinterest, and share to LinkedIn. So I do really like these options. And as you can see, it's giving me the timeline, 3 minutes and 45 seconds. And I think if my computer was not so old and slow, I think this probably would have taken, like, honestly, a few seconds, literally a few seconds. And I think it's only taking this long because of the time frame, because of the computer being the way it is right now, you know. And that's pretty much how it works. Once you're done, you can either go to the home, which takes you back to where the folders are, etc., or you can go click on keep editing if you want to maybe edit yet another video, but within the same template, right? You know, so that's the option. So now it's got 2 minutes. Let me see if there's any other tips that I have for you that I can offer. Let me see. Is there anything else? I think for the most part I explained almost everything, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the keep editing section, and I am going to just go over, look through to see if there's anything that I might have left out that you might need. And I know I've been streaming for 2 hours. That is insane. And funny enough, if this was a pre-recorded video, it would have been probably just like a 15-minute video, because I would have probably cut off any of the waiting and all that stuff, you know, and just like eliminated all of that, and they would a nice quick little video for you to kind of watch. But with that said, because anyone that's going to be watching this on a replay, you will have the option to skip any parts where I'm having to do a lot of waiting, you know, that sort of thing. So 15 seconds. So okay, it said 3 minutes. I don't know if that actually was 3 minutes. It seems like it was less, and I'm okay with that. I'm not complaining, you know. I'm literally not complaining. So basically, like I mentioned earlier on, once it finishes with the export, it actually automatically places it in the downloads folder, you know. And so as you can see here, it gives you the option to actually delete it if you don't like it, and show in folder or open the file. Open the file is basically it's gonna, you know, play it. And then showing the folder is the folder that it's in. So I'm actually going to open the file. I always do that because of the fact that I like to be able to check to see what it is I've just created, to make sure, because sometimes you find that you've made some slight mistakes and then you have to go back and actually do some more editing, right? So here, why are you taking your time? Okay, bruh. Are we good? Okay. So I'm going to close that. Instead, I'm actually just going to go to the file location. Okay. That way to open, it'll take me straight to the file. Let's maximize this, please. Thank you. And then I'm going to just click open from here. Let me see. What is it? Did it recently update? I saw it saying new media player. Yeah, that's fine. Something's changed. I think it's been doing all these upgrades lately, and I think something has changed. So we'll see. If it doesn't do it, there is actually a way. If you're struggling to use your media player, whether it be for music or for videos on Windows, there's actually a way that a lot of people might not be familiar with that they can be able to utilize. So it's still doing that. So I need to check to find out what the problem is. So whilst it's giving issues over there, I'm opening a new tab on my other screen and I'm going to bring it over. Okay, bring it over here, and then I'm going to bring that up here and I'm going to close that. And then I'm going to just go to the same file. Okay, since I still want to preview it, I can literally click on it, drag it, take it to Google Chrome, right? I'm going to take it to the tab I've just opened. And if you've already got some work there and you don't want to override the work, just click right next to the tab and it will take it to a new tab, and voila, you can actually preview it. So I'm gonna pause it to get it to load properly so that it's ready. Obviously, because I'm live streaming, it might stagger, but normally it actually doesn't. So I'm gonna click
Women are
play.
forever the multitaskers.
Yeah, it's still staggering, but that should work fine. Yeah, I think it's staggering because of the live stream. And that's pretty much it. You know, you've been able to test
Women
it. So,
forever.
no, pause. So yeah, if you're having problems honestly doing a playback of your videos or your music, any audio, you can literally drag and drop it into your web browser and it will actually play it from there. You can actually preview it from there. So I do like that option, and it's handy because it literally just happened to me now. And I need to find out why that is. And so now we're going to go back to Clipchamp. Okay, we're going to go click on clip editing. Because there is something else I do want to show you. Okay, this always kind of stays on top, so it's up to you to kind of like click on the X so that you can kind of close it. Okay, so something else I never got a chance to show you when I was in the edit option is this. So here you can see it's got 9:16, which is the format for shorts, for reels, for TikTok, right? When you click on that, a list comes up. Okay, and when you hover over the list, by the way, it's actually changed. So you've got 16.9, which is the standard one that we use for widescreen videos, etc., that sort of thing. So when you hover over it, it actually gives you a preview of the size. Okay, and this is for Instagram. And there's another one which is not quite for Instagram, but I think this might suit maybe Twitter or Reddit. And then there's another one. It's kind of like a, you know, is this? Oh, it actually gives you. Can you see? It says good for Pinterest and Facebook feed. This one is good for social feeds. So any social feed. This one obviously good for Instagram posts, carousel ad. The carousel ad. Yep. And then this is good for YouTube, Vimeo, FB cover, etc. Because you know FB covers, you can have them animated as well. You can actually have Facebook covers that are videos. And then this is cinematic, good for films, blogs, banners, etc., that sort of thing. And obviously this one, the one that we're already using, is good for, if I had that one clicked, it'd probably be telling me this is good for, you know, TikTok, Reels, and etc. So that's an option that I never showed you. And then if there's anything else I skipped, let me see. Obviously, on the panel here, like I said, is undo, redo buttons, the clip option, the bin duplicate options. And this is if you want to skip frame per frame. You can do widescreen here. There's got the option here for help. Anything that you're not sure of, you can actually ask for extra help. You can even bring down the panel, just like the way you can bring these ones down. You can bring it down, especially if you're doing just previews and stuff, and then you can bring it back up again if it will let me. There we go. Okay, and then these other side panels, I kind of showed you how that works. So long as you've clicked on a particular item, okay, the edit option for that particular item actually show up. For the texting, you've seen there's the captions, there's the fading, and you can do different things like change the font size, etc. There are some fonts that are actually premium fonts. Again, if you upgrade, then you're gonna have access to those additional fonts, you know. And I think also any fonts that you might have on your system, I think are likely to get included as well. You've got the alignment options where, like for me, I chose center aligned. That's why it's center aligned. You can obviously have it justify to the left, justify to the right. You can have it bold or italicized. You can actually change the color for the font. That's an option. You can even choose the position. So for example, if you don't want it at the top there, or you don't want to manually move it, you want it to be very exact, you can either choose for it to be at the corner, that corner, the middle top, middle, center, center, bottom, you know, right, left, etc., that sort of thing. That option is there actually for the text. You've already seen the fade, you've seen the filters as well. And then if I click on the actual footage, this is the one that matters the most, if truth be told. I think we went through this anyways, the speed, the adjusting of colors. When it comes to the audio, that's standalone. You can change the speed, you can you can add fade in, fade out, and then obviously, and you can also add captions. Captions is if there's a speech taking place within the audio, or if it's a song, whatever, it will generate the captions accordingly. And so for the most part, the timeline is pretty much this: zoom in, zoom out is there, and then this allows you to make it, you know, zoom to fit, you know, that way it kind of just fits within the frame whilst you're editing. Up here is where you change your title. And every single video that you have, make sure that you change the title. Otherwise, every time it exports, it will export that exact title that you have at the top there. And like I said, when you close this, it maintains everything as is. You know, it literally maintains everything as is. And so, yeah, this I think is pretty cool. I'm going to go back to, I'm going to click on home. That way I can quickly go into the Elaka one, because the Elaka one, I've done some more extensive editing with it. With some videos anyways, like Beat Saber, etc., that sort of thing, I think. Actually no, let's go to TGZ. Let's go to TGZ, because TGZ, like I said, I was in the process of editing this one, but there's an element that wasn't showing quite right the way I needed to show, so I stopped it for a second so I can figure out how to work that one around. However, with TGZ, because this one is in full screen, it's a little bit more professional. You know, even I feel it's even more professional than the Elaka and the Sims and stuff like that. Elaka Sims is a little more like, okay, just like, you know, this there. But TGZ is literally the main business. And so the way I have to edit stuff has to be done in a very specific, strategic way. I literally can't afford to mess up stuff basically with TGZ. I can afford to mess up with Elaka, I can afford to mess up with AP Creative Media, but I can't afford to mess up with TGTV. It's very, very important. And so as you can see, it's completely like it's zoomed in. This is the footage that I'm actually editing. Let me see if I can bring it forward. As you can see, it's also staggering a lot because I've got a whole lot of footage. It's not even something small, it's a whole lot of footage. So it does affect the system slightly. I wouldn't be surprised if Clipchamp even like shuts down on me, it crashes on me, because it is a bunch of footage. And this is why, even if Clipchamp is good for the smaller stuff, for the bigger things, my better option probably would be Premiere Pro, because it can handle it, you know. So here, if I click play. Okay, so the sound is there you go, it's still buffering.
TGTV. Red
Oh,
carpet moments. TGTV. Red carpet moments.
let's see what's going on. Okay, so this is the why is it
TGTV.
not
TGTV. Red carpet moments.
goodness me, that was a lot. Oh my gosh, what is it doing?
TGTV. Red carpet.
Stop, 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 stop. Thank you. Okay, so basically, honestly, what I just wanted to show you is once you've got like your templates ready and you've been able to kind of like use the templates from there. Obviously, I didn't use this is stuff that I created like from scratch. There's a lot of stuff that was done in Premiere Pro, pretty much almost everything, and After Effects, and in Blender. It's myself, combination of myself and my team. Basically, once you have been able to collect things like the intro, outros from your templates, like using the graphics and the templates that are available, etc., this is the type of thing that you would end up having to do. Make sure that you have your templates, you know, your intro added right in the beginning, and then make sure that you have your outro somewhat ready. Now, my outro here is here actually. Okay, I put it at the top because I was still editing, like I mentioned. But basically, by the time I'm done editing this particular footage, this part of the outro, where is it? Where is it? The outro, which is like the end card, which is so vital to have, especially if you're doing full YouTube videos, etc., that sort of thing. You know, you can end up placing at the end. And then, like I showed you, the replacement option where you replace the footage. With the Sims one, you pretty much, once you've got your template done with your intro and your outro at the end, and you've got your please like and share buttons, you know, at the top there, then all you have to do is just keep changing the footage and then adjusting them accordingly. As a matter of fact, let me come out of this one since it's incomplete, because I think it's slowing it down as well because of the fact that it's got tons of footage. I am going to take, let me see, who should I take? No. Okay, I'm going to take this one. Yes. This one is actually a perfect example. This one is actually the perfect example. Because this one, I think it's a speed build that I edited for the Sims channel. And so with this one, it's got literally all the elements and perfectly ordered. So for instance, I've got, as you can see, yeah, it's a lot of footage as well. It's a whole lot of footage. But the advantage is literally with it, what I tend to do is once I'm done with the footage and I've removed it from the timeline, I actually delete it from this section as well. That way it doesn't drain up the CPU. And as you can see, if I remember what I mentioned earlier on in regards to the music, I've got several songs in here, you know, and this is a 20-minute video, give or take. Okay. And then in between I had to add the songs, but when I did pick the songs, I did try to pick songs that lasted for a decent amount of time rather than really short ones, because then it reduced the amount of songs, right, that I had to place within the timeline. And so as you can see with this one, I literally have the intro, and even my intro, I actually used YouTube music. That way I don't risk any issues. Obviously the other option would be if you want like a more diverse range of music that you want to utilize for your intro, outro within, you can sign up to Epidemic Music, Epidemic Sounds. Epidemic does charge £10 a month, £9.99 a month, but you also get to have copyright free music. You get to have a huge variety from the library. So let's say for example you've downloaded a whole bunch of music that you want to use on a particular YouTube channel, you've registered with that particular account, and you've paid for like a couple of months or whatever. You can download as much music as you want, and then if for example you choose no longer to pay for it after a month or whatever, the music you've already downloaded, it will register that yes, that's with the account and it was downloaded whilst it was paid for. You will still be able to use it within your YouTube channel, you know, and over again, basically. But it has to be that particular YouTube channel that's actually registered to your Epidemic Sound account, because it actually requests for you to integrate it. So it actually recognizes that yes, this is the correct person using the music with permission. Otherwise, if you do that outside of what I've just explained, you will get a copyright strike. Or a copyright claim, or likely a strike, because this is music by artists who are actually getting paid by Epidemic Music. I mean, I'm sure YouTube pays the artist too, but obviously Epidemic Music works in a slightly different way. But so be very, very careful with that. So with this one, I've got my intro, which I already play. So if I press play, you find that the intro is there. If it will play, there we go. Okay. So this is buffering because I've got a tons of footage. This is footage that was hours and hours and hours worth of footage that's actually been sped up so that the video is not as long. So that's why you're going to have a lot of buffering. But what I also added, if I click just here, okay, one thing I do love about Clipchamp, it actually has the option where within the graphics, if I'm not mistaken, it's within graphics or templates, it's got the option for the like and subscribe buttons. So you don't even have to worry about trying to find, you know, when you're telling people, please like and subscribe to my channel, blah, blah, blah. It's actually got loads of them. And that's what I've actually been using. And I'm like, oh, this is good, because when I try to use the ones I have, which are MOV files, which have got basically MOV files are like alpha files. So they've got transparency and I can place them anywhere I want on the video. Because MOV files are quite heavy in size, Clipchamp kind of struggled with them, so I had to eliminate using those files that I already have and actually ended up using the ones that actually came with Clipchamp. If I go back to editing anything else in Premiere Pro, then I can use the MOV files that I have, because obviously that's part of the way the design of the like and subscribe are actually to the design of my actual branding. That's the reason why I chose them. However, these are still a lifesaver because they still work decently well. You just have to be careful because they do come with sound effects. Some of them is like water sound effects, some is like whoosh and stuff like that. So if you want those sound effects, you can go ahead and keep them and maybe just reduce the volume, or you can mute the sound effects entirely. That way it doesn't interfere when you're working. What I did with them when I used them is, in the beginning, when I was initially telling people, please make sure that you like and subscribe, you know, etc., that sort of thing, I left the sound effect. But the ones in the middle, during the excuse me, I had to sneeze, I beg your pardon, during the video, because there's music playing, I'm not talking anymore, I'm just doing the speed build, etc., that sort of thing, I actually muted the sound for the rest of them that are in the middle, and then it's only the one at the end that has got the sound effect to it as well. So that's something to kind of bear in mind, especially if you're looking for a particular aesthetic when you are exporting your video and you are looking at it on the standpoint of the viewer and what it is that you would like them to actually enjoy. So be very, very careful with that, because I doubt, like, if you've got the music playing or you're talking a lot and stuff like that, you're trying to explain something and then a huge whoosh, splash and stuff like that comes in the background, that can throw people off, you know. Whereas in this case, you know, depending on how you're talking and what it is that you're referencing to, then you can reduce the volume and actually leave the sound. So in this case, when I'm editing this again, I'm going to be doing another speed build in here. When I'm editing it, I'm going to keep my intro exactly where it is. I'm going to keep my outro exactly where it is. I'm going to even keep all these little purple things that you're seeing. These are the like and subscribe. I'm actually going to keep them where they are. And I'm just going to replace the footage. And then when I'm done replacing the footage, I've made sure that all of it has been replaced and anything that's left over is removed. Then, only then will I adjust the spacing of where they are. And as you can see, as I'm hovering, right, it's showing like the stripes and a bin. Basically, it's telling you that there's a gap between footage. This is very, very handy when you are trying to merge footage. So for example, if you are struggling to bring the footage very close together, my recommendation is when you're dragging and dropping it in, drag it and drop it in with a big space and then just click on the bin. It will basically bring it in. So for example, if I do this, right, click on the bin, it deletes the space basically, but it brings the footage in, you know, and it brings it in without you having to try and find that precision. So I'm gonna obviously click undo on that, but that's really, really handy for when you're trying to add footage and you're struggling to get them to come close together, because sometimes that does happen where you're trying to get the footage to come close together, but you find that there's still a gap. You know, there's still a gap, and even when you're exporting or whatever, it will tell you to say there's a gap in this particular place. Do you want to fix it or do you want to keep it as is? Because when it detects a gap, which means you've got a black space, a blank, like literally a blank space, you know, in between footage. So be very, very careful about that. My recommendation, like I said, if you're not good at aligning them right next to each other, place it a little bit further away. That way it gives you this option, and then you can click on the bin and then it will bring it perfectly next to it. And then obviously you can go and proceed and actually add things like the transitions if you need to. In this particular one, I think I added only a few transitions here and there. I did not add them in the entire video. And so yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it really. I think I've explained as much as I can. I've been going for 2 hours and 30 something minutes, which is a very, very long. So feel free to kind of speed this up. Actually, the option is there to speed up the video in YouTube. So you can speed up the video if you want to go through the tutorial. That way it doesn't take you 2 hours and 30 minutes to actually get all the information that you need. You know, and feel free to share. I'd appreciate that. Feel free to share this video, and of course, if you are watching this video right now and you're not a subscriber, please make sure that you click on that subscribe button. And of course, honestly, I'm getting tongue-tied. I think because I'm tired, it's past midnight now. Feel free to click on that like button, share the video, leave your comments down below if you're watching in replay mode. Would like to know if you've got any questions as well about anything that I've explained. Please feel free to leave your comments down below, and of course click on that bell button if you have just subscribed, so that you can receive notifications every time I upload new videos. Do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, because it's gonna help me immensely. Okay, give this video a thumbs up, because yes, that is actually going to be really, really helpful for me. It's going to help put me up in the algorithm. Otherwise, from me, honestly, it's I suppose take care and goodbye.